All right, says we're live. Thinking a bit of this, a bit of that this evening, peeps. That's for whoever comes along here. What's that? Yeah. Anyway, I'm a few minutes early, so I won't start just yet. 7:30 is the time. Who's that one? Leave that there. Maybe we'll start with Forrest Gump. Connect. A few peeps sending through. Plenty of bits and pieces, bits and bobs. Hard case, always appreciated. What's this? Message from Shubs. Free day tomorrow. If you have any time, brother. We'll see. I've got a bit on tomorrow, bro. But I'll come back to you later on. Yeah, we missed out on doing the live with Shubs. Where are we? Hey, Dad. Yeah, day has been good. Productive day, bro. So thank you very much. Hope yours was too. Good evening, Rubber Kiwi. Good evening, Vietnam. Yeah, shout out Robin Williams, eh? Jeez. Yeah, that fella. Just sad. I mean, I don't know all the details, but it seems like it was a combination of maybe some depression or something with that man. But yeah, rest in peace to him. Good morning, Vietnam. Yeah. Connect. It's an old one, that one. Forrest Gump. Yeah, maybe I'll just start, eh? I'll just start now. 7:28. It's not like people just rock up when they can. So yeah, kia ora, g'day, evening everybody, or to Dan and Rubber Kiwi. Oh, and Charlie 29 as well. I've seen the video of him and last post on a base in Iraq. Oh, true. Yeah, right. Where am I? Yeah, plenty of stuff, bits and pieces, some clips I grabbed and bookmarked, a whole bunch of stuff. I just discovered the bookmarking tool on Instagram, people. And I saw that I could bookmark things and then just go to that section. Like they all go to the one spot on my homepage, and then I click on the bookmarks, and then there they all are. So I hopefully won't have to click around too much. Some of that stuff is stuff that I found. Some of that stuff is a bunch of stuff that's been sent through to me from people on Instagram and or followers of the channel. So thank yous very much. You know who yous are. Some good laughs had in between as well. Some funny stuff that's sent through with the banter that comes through on the chat. Zach, hey from Adelaide. Hey, kia ora, bro. Zach from Adelaide. I have a question. Go for it. Who armed you in the private sector and what were the weapons? Thanks in advance. So the company that I was working for, that we were working for, had connections with people that were able to get us the weapons. So I won't give the names of the people. And we had a mix of US military style weapons, so M4s, Glocks, and AK-47s, and ammunition and that sort of stuff. We had body armor. We had some grenades and that sort of thing as well. We didn't have any blinking. We weren't running RPGs. We weren't running RPGs or anything like that. It's a few machine guns and enough kit anyway, I suppose, that we felt would give us, enable us to be able to do the job that we needed to do. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Dan, and as best I can. Who armed you in the private sector and what were their weapons? Yeah. And during that time too, I remember, well, a few of us, myself included, used to travel backwards and forwards in and out of country with our body armor till it started getting, I guess, I think it was maybe causing issues at the airports when we're, moving in and out of country with our body armor and stuff. Not with blinking magazines or anything, just the body armor itself. That didn't happen a lot, but yeah, when it started to cause not even really issues, but when it started to be flagged, I suppose, at the airports, it's like, okay, yeah, won't worry about traveling backwards and forwards with it now. We'll just leave it in country and go from there, locked up in our trunks and that sort of stuff. Because we had a combination of LECs, locally employed civilians, who would be doing outer perimeter security, and then obviously the expats doing the stuff, the close protection stuff of the clients. All right, let's start with Forrest Gump. I'm going to start with Forrest Gump. No worries, Dan. What's this? Just the first 12 seconds this person sent and shared as well. Just the first 12 seconds. Here we go. Hopefully the volume's coming through. Let's soon see. Did I even turn these on? Oh, yeah. It says connected. There's audio. This is a good scene. People all know this one. Go! Oh, what? That didn't even come through here. That came through the laptop. Bloody rubbish. Oh, that's because it's not coming through on there. Not connected. Right, here we go. Now it says it's connected. That old chestnut.
Go! What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ of 160.
I wonder how many. Let's stop sharing that. I wonder how many times they did that scene. If Tom Hanks cracked up, or if the drill sergeant cracked up, that's still funny each time I see it. Maybe I should start off with that, and then that's the only appropriate response for those in the chat. All right, I'm going to jump into some of the stuff that I discovered, like I mentioned in the bookmarks section. Let's get rid of that. Bookmarks. Click on that. Man, there's heaps of stuff in here. Where to start? Jeepers. There's heaps of things in here. Civil War. India. Canada. Australia. Let's just start with this one. This is Senator Jess Collins. Oh, what happens if I share that? Oh, no, I'll just go there first. Pause. Share screen. Good this end. Cool. Oh, yeah, cool. That's good to know. Dun, dun, dun. See what Senator Jess Collins has to say.
Sufficient to protect our ocean of peace. That has been made abundantly clear. China continues to test the region's security architecture, including by launching a missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads into our ocean of peace and doing live fire exercises in the Tasman Sea. I therefore urge the government to pursue meaningful defence integration with our Pacific partners and to lift defence spending as a matter of urgency.
There's still a bit more. I'll play. Actually, I'll just let it play through.
Australia cannot afford to be complacent should the PLA Navy again seek to circumnavigate our coastline, conduct live fire exercises in the Tasman Sea, or launch ballistic missiles directed towards our Pacific partners. We have to step up to deter, because diplomacy and deterrence are the only credible ways to protect and maintain our ocean of peace indefinitely for the benefit of the entire Pacific family.
There you go, Senator Jess Collins. Whatever people think of the Liberals, I don't really think much of them, just probably because they got some idiots in there, but she seems like a good egg, that one. What's this got here? Generations of Australians have built, defended and strengthened this country. The Vietnam Treaty between Australia and Fiji is built around the vision of the Pacific as an ocean of peace, a region that remains peaceful and secure. We owe it to those who came before us and to those who will come after us to keep Australia strong. Stop sharing that. Oh no, the stuff that she's spoken about there, lots of things running through your head. With the way that recent decisions on Veterans Affairs stuff over there in Australia, we'll get to that. What's his name? Keogh or Key or something? Limiting Veterans Affairs, blinking payments, or I'm not too sure exactly. I'll have to have a look at that, but I think I got sent a link for that as well. I don't know. Like, it's been lots of sacrifice and things made by people to go abroad and go in gladly, willingly, voluntarily, I might add. And there will likely still be plenty of people that are doing that, and there still is to this day. But I guess people that have, those veterans that have gone, they must feel pretty, dare I say, hurt and betrayed by what's happening at the moment with the Labour government and their decisions, poor decisions, it seems. I don't know if there's like a heck of a lot of time to be maintaining this ocean of peace, given China's distance from Australia, the numbers, the technology, the capability, etc., and given the what do I say, the relationship between NATO and the US after, excuse me, Donald Trump's requests and that sort of thing in regards to the war with Iran. Yeah, interesting. Who knows what will happen in that space? What do you reckon? Those that have got any, if you've got any thoughts and stuff on that one, I'm going to close that one down because there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Broken promises. I'm going to jump to this. David Pocock. I like this guy, Senator Pocock. Again, I don't even know which party he's with, but he raises some good points in terms of, I guess, what must be things in his portfolio. I'll check the chat soon. I'll just pause that. Oops. Or the government commit today. You'll hear what this one is about. Oh, sorry. Shares on here. What's this? Ben Hayes, what's that square behind you in the frame with Oz and US flag in it? Yeah, just a little frame with a handful of the patches. There's a whole bunch more patches somewhere from that you exchange with people. The C one is just the one from C Troop where I was with, and then some Americans, obviously the Australian patch flag that I had whilst I was over there in the ADF, and then you collect other things. It's like coins and stuff. So there's a couple of coins up there too. There's a whole bunch of other coins dotted around the place, and or in a box, dare I say. Some of them are in the cabinet over there. So yeah, that's all those are. Barry Pope, restricting vet treatment for PTSD. Wow, is that what they're doing? That's mad. Restricting vet treatment for PTSD. That must have been why when I heard somebody saying, or did I read it, saying no wonder veterans are turning towards alcohol, in some cases drugs and or medicinal cannabis or something. So that's crazy. Cheers for that, Barry Pope. Yeah, let's go share screen. Let's go to this one. Idea for a nickname for supporters of future Pierre Mortai and our political party, Jomos, e.g. you look like a bunch of Jomos, a bunch of real good smart guys. I think somebody put the Disenchanted Party, and that they said something funny about basically, as I interpreted it, said, yeah, you fellas don't have any idea what you're talking about. That's how I interpreted it anyway. Leaders of our nation speaking on this with Australia acquiring us Virginia class nuclear submarines. Yeah. What is your view on NZ nuclear-free policy and likely not allowing Australian subs in New Zealand waters? I think it's stupid, personally. Australia's closest ally to Aotearoa New Zealand. And if they were going to do that, like if Australia has that, or when they have it, I don't know what, they haven't been following that closely. New Zealand not wanting to allow their vessels into the waters, I think it's just stupid, personally. Time to look at things through a different, and again, I haven't gone down this rabbit hole of looking into that fully, but the world and landscape has significantly changed. And although that may have been the position however many years ago, there needs to be I guess, my view, a considered approach and discussion in and around what's best for the region, for the ocean of peace. Blinken Eck, what are we going to do with our blinking 1.1 or 1.2 GDP spend on military? Yeah, there. I'd love to see a US aircraft carrier visit. Oh, imagine that. Would it fit? Where would that port or Blinken doc or whatever it's called. That'd be interesting. Hi from France. Really? Le Diamond Dog. Appreciate your vid, sir. I appreciate your vid, sir. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Le Diamond Dog. Merci beaucoup. Forgive my accent. But anyway, let's play this.
Locally engaged employee home.
The short answer, no. The government admits it is now closing the door on Afghans who helped us during our longest war.
Why are we closing programs if the job is not done?
5 years after the West's withdrawal, independent politicians want the Auditor General to investigate why pledges of protection have now lapsed.
This was a promise we made to Afghans who helped our troops that we would look after them, and we have failed on that. Will the government commit today to bringing every certified locally engaged employee home?
Will the government commit today to bringing every certified locally employed, what did he say, civilian home or something like that? The short answer, no. They need to watch that movie, The Covenant, eh? Some of these policy makers, and or surely there must be a way, or there should be something, a mechanism put in place to hold those people to account. Every certified, verified person, not the bloody Hikmatullahs of the world, but the certified local populace, whether those are the interpreters that were employed, going out on jobs, like the people that Mark Donaldson VC in Australia, ran back to go and save, jumped off to go get their interpreter, picked them up, carried him, was awarded a VC, not only for that action, but for other things that he did as well, in terms of drawing enemy fire away so that guys that were in the locker, I think they were part of US and Australian forces as part of that group, returning back to base when they got hit, ambushed. He went to go save the interpreter. Some might say, well, he did enough, he saved them. No. I mean, if that's what the government said they were going to do, go watch that movie, The Covenant. And maybe, well, they probably wouldn't have an understanding. But whoever those political leaders are and or were that made that sort of promise and are now seemingly appear to be reneging on that, it's just crazy. Sorry, chat. They will fit in Auckland, apparently. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for that. We'll have to change, but it's at the same time, we've been pretty clear about it for a long time. National referendum. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have a clue in terms of what they've been saying in these national referendums. First time I'm starting to have a look at some of the political stuff just for my own interest in terms of who's going to get my vote, because they're all desperate for my vote, obviously. Sigsbee thumb. Oh, do you speak French, Joe? How? Yeah, no, I don't. Merci beaucoup. Pourquoi, I think, is why, and la poisson is fish. I think that's what it is. You'll have to correct me. No worries about your accent. Your pronunciation is good. Thanks for that. More like we've been stupidly stubborn for a long time. Where are the frogs now when the greenies have gone feral? Bloody government focused on bringing over the people fighting against the coalition forces. Yeah, Jace. How true and accurate is that, eh? You want to bring over the people that deserted your country to go shack up with an ISIS fighter. Their beloved got killed, good riddance, and now they want to go back home to Australia with their blinking offspring. It's crazy. Yet the people that legitimately cleared all their vettings, went out on jobs and tasks and operations with the soldiers, with the ADF soldiers I'm talking about here, risked their lives, did their job, likely by and large, not only for the pay that they would have got, but also because of the promises, the lies that they were fed. We will bring you back to Australia and look after you. To just then, based on that little clip or reel, whatever it's called, seems like nah. But we're going to bring back those that are potentially have either been fighting for terrorist organizations and or who have been supporting the terrorist organizations. We're not going to bring back the ones that were helping us try to go and locate, find them, translate and interpret. We're going to bring back the dickhead ones. Yeah, it's crazy. Sig Spear, that's for my soap. Dan Kidd, I do. I do. Is that for the Covenant piece? Yeah, it's just extremely disappointing from my personal take with regards to what they're not doing, seems like. What have we got here? What do you mean, you people? Let's have a play of that. Can I drag that back? Something lighthearted. This may have been me if I didn't get better at navigation. Could have potentially been me. Tropic Thunder. Hard case. That's play.
Remember the obsession with math?
Because we're tired of being the trail donkeys, acting like you some one-man GPS. God damn it! We lost. We fucking super lost, man. Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
I don't believe you people.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people? Remember the obsession?
We're trucking super lost, man. I haven't even watched that movie in full. I think I've just seen all these little snippets and clips, but that one was one of the ones that was sent through. Thanks for sending that through. Yeah. Can't all be blinking serious and doom and gloom on a live stream or on videos. I do enough, dare I say, are they serious? I don't know. I do enough videos which are mostly not comedy. Well, it depends. Hey, that thing that I got for a comedy and entertainment channel like mine, so maybe it is majority comedy. Where are we? Oh, I hit the wrong button, man. I do. What's this? And/or killed Australian and New Zealand personnel. Yeah. Speak French. You can't make a movie like that today. That movie, Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. Yeah, crack up. Some good ones. Some good ones out there. What else we got? No, not that one. Not that one. If anybody gets needs a good laugh, though, I do like. I'll just share the screen here. I do like this fella, this Australian fella. People will know him. Like the series, things that he does, Destination Pucked, Aussie Man reviews. This fella's crack up. Anyway, there's probably plenty of other fellas, but he's got some funny. He's got that typical Aussie twang with his reactions and that sort of thing. Oh, not even reactions, his voiceovers. That's what they are. So yeah, always good can always guarantee a laugh having to listen to this fella and then watching the shenanigans and the videos that he's doing reactions to. Yeah, not that. Lost Faith. Here we go. Whatever this twit's name is. KEOGH backflips to meet veterans. So I've heard a bunch of different things, and now it seems like this, I think this is the same guy who refused to shake hands of Australian veterans. It's like, why would anybody want to go and serve if you've got a government in power at this stage, the Labor government, who's, I guess this minister is overseas veterans stuff and doesn't want to shake your hand. It's like, well, truck you punts. Why the truck would I want to go and serve? But like I said, there's always going to be people that are going to want to serve there. Share screen. I'm bloody going to go between there, and then I realize it's down here, the share button. Lost Faith veterans turn on Matt Keogh. Keogh. Sig Tropic Thunder, one of the last great Hollywood comedies we'll never see the likes again. Honest Government Ads is another funny YouTube vids. Oh, okay. Honest Government Ads. Thank you for that, Poeticus. Let's go play. See what this is about.
I'm going to stay with this issue because I want to bring in now, of course, well known to this program, Phil Thompson. He is the Shadow Minister for Defence Personnel, himself an Army veteran. The Prime Minister calls you a former veteran, mate. No one's a former veteran. If you are someone who's worn the uniform, you are a veteran for life. We'll get to...
This is the guy that I saw got told to leave the Parliament House a while ago for for holding something up or whatever, or maybe because he didn't retract something. But crazy.
His treatment of this group in a moment, but take us through his form, Phil, because this isn't his first clash with veterans. Since he got into the portfolio, it's almost like he's gone out of the way to hurt veterans?
I absolutely agree with you. And from funding cuts to debacles to putting his name on plaques when he wasn't there, now to refusing to meet with veterans.
What? He put his name on plaques? What's that all about? Putting his name on plaques when he wasn't there. What sort of plaques is he putting his name on? Blank in the plaque you scrape off your teeth or what?
This guy continues just to fall upwards. It's ridiculous. Courage and conviction is what our veterans have, what they've faced. And sadly, this is not what the Minister for Veterans Affairs has, the person who's supposed to be championing them. I want you to know, Peter, that tonight, and I hope that it gets picked up everywhere, I don't believe that Matt Keogh, the Minister for Veterans Affairs, should stay in his portfolio. I and every other veteran that I've spoken to have lost faith in his ability to support us as veterans.
Matt Keogh. I would have thought, like, if you're gonna, and I don't know what, I've never heard, don't know who Matt Keogh is. It sounds like a twat as far as I'm concerned. But wouldn't you put somebody in your cabinet to oversee certain areas that might have some experience in that area? That's just my thought anyway. Like, I would have thought it would be good if you have a Veterans Affairs person or minister, along with their other portfolios of responsibilities, that they've had some time or experience and stuff there. Like, as an example, I don't know what's going to happen with the Greens party here with Josh Jacobson, as an example. I have no idea. But I would assume, and I would probably feel more comfortable if that's the right word. I would probably be more convinced, maybe. I mean, I don't know Josh. I'm sure he's an awesome dude. Seems like it anyway, just based on what I've read. I haven't seen any interviews or anything with him. But he's got some runs on the board, eh? He's got some credibility about him. Josh Jacobson, MG, I should say, not just Josh Jacobson. Navy, served in the Army, and we know where he served in the Army, in the NZSAS. His operational deployments, multiple, and yeah, it's just, I don't know. Matt Keogh, Matt Bloody Ballbag is what this fella's, not this fella, but whoever the current veterans twat is for Labour.
To put us first is nothing more than a party man, and he should be removed from this position tonight.
A coup. Sack the twat.
I watched him, and I mentioned this a moment ago. I watched him in.
There's horse in the background with the cowboy hat, and the gongs on the left. There's medals. I don't know who the other fella is near the front, next to the veteran speaking. Must be a few other veterans in that group, I'm guessing.
In the chamber today, when you asked him questions and you had him on the ropes in question time, he couldn't even look you in the eye.
No, and he has been like that for some time. He doesn't like getting asked hard questions. His response is always quite petty. If he gets a question, he does roll his eyes and he sits back and he's...
Is that him? Is that the twat there? Look at the blanking fat, useless twat. Rubbish. Useless.
Scoffs. And then he comes over and he creates a political partisan position around veterans issues that has never been the case previously under any other minister and any other government. I just don't think he likes veterans. I don't think he likes his portfolio, and it's clear by his actions. He's out.
He must not like his portfolio. Hey, I mean, he wouldn't be the only one that doesn't like veterans. Let's be honest. That's why, you know, when I was coming through the Army, we were blinking referred to as the AJs. The AJs are in town. The Army jerks are coming to town, and blinking plenty of civvies and those university students at Massey University in Palmerston North. Like, there'd be fisticuffs and blinking fights happen at times when you're going out on the town. So we're not, military people aren't necessarily the blinking, they're not angels, eh? And we bring upon ourselves our own, dare I say, warranted amount of criticism and dare I say scrutiny and a whole bunch of other things. He wouldn't be the first to not to have no time for or to not want to talk with veterans. I remember when I went around, so shout out Rubber Kiwi, when I went around on that Poppy Day with Willie Apiata, this pops into my head. The amount of people that we met in Whakatane to do the Poppy Day, and we're handing out poppies for free. People could donate if they wanted to. The vast majority of those that took a poppy donated. Dare I say, all of those who took a poppy donated. but there was quite a number of people that didn't want a poppy at all, who shared their comments, not in a confrontational, not in a confrontational type way. They were by and large females that just said, no, I don't support it. I don't want anything to do with the Anzacs or anything like that, or remembering the war and bloodshed. These are just, again, people were entitled to their own thoughts. Willie and I were he just remained polite and respectful. He said, oh, no worries. Okay, it's all good. And then we just moved on to the next person. That's pretty much, thankfully, there wasn't a large majority of those, but I'd say maybe over the course of the day, which was quite surprising, maybe just a little over half a dozen. So less than 10, but more than half a dozen type thing. And I didn't really dwell on it or think about it too much until after, on my drive back to Auckland later on, after spending that day in the evening and stuff there with Willie and the lads. And I thought, oh, wow, yeah, there are people out there that just, have no time for military. And so maybe this guy, Matt Keogh, is one of those people.
He's out of his depth. He doesn't want this job. And you know what? I agree with him. I don't think he should have it.
Okay, so we talked about before the cutting of the money to the Baird family, and it was modest funding to support.
Cutting of the money. I think I heard about that. They cut funds to the Baird family. I think, rest in peace, Cameron Baird, VCMG. I think his parents were going around looking to, I guess to a degree, obviously preserve their son's memory and what he's done. Share, I don't know exactly what the parents are doing, so don't quote me on it. But whatever it is that they were doing, I'm sure it was positive. And for the benefit of the ADF as well. So would have been twofold, not just for them. Some modest funding, I think, given to them to enable and help with them with their travel around to be able to do what it was that they were doing. So I don't know what mum and dad were doing for Cam, but it just seems. I remember that popping up, and now this seems to be happening, and it just seems strange.
Support the
like they're wanting to stop funding. I get it; it's just for veterans. At this, well, I shouldn't say just for veterans, but it's limiting the money that veterans can have access to. How long will it be before I suppose it starts to impact soldiers in the ADF? And yeah, man, I wonder what the breaking point is. I wonder what the tipping point's going to be, man. Because as I look at some of these other posts that I'm going to share on this live tonight, depending on whoever's here or whoever's not here, I'm going to share them anyway. I just think to myself, and some of the posts that I've read, I just think that is nuts. There's probably some stuff I have no doubt I would need to be careful of saying on my channel. So I will reserve that as best I can. Not for fear of anything, but just because of, I don't know, potential repercussions that could happen. Who knows? Maybe just a matter of time before what's happening in the UK and possibly Australia before it gets over here, etc. In terms of comments on social media, posts, dare I say, videos. We've already seen some of that happen with Brian Tamaki. Not that I think much about that guy, but the Destiny's Church fella and his comments on Moody, Blinken, however you say that bloody twat's name, or Indians in general, I think he was talking about burning down mosques if they're burning down churches overseas. And then the police rock up to Brian Tamaki's place. Before that, 2 days earlier, they revoke his weapons license, his firearms license. Then 2 days later, they go to his house and then take his firearms. Police are just doing their job, I guess. Yep. But I just am confused and wondering how far or how quickly things like that, where if you give a different opinion or you call somebody a mean name, then the government contact the police and tell them to go and conduct a search, go and arrest those people, etc., etc. Just, it's crazy to me, man. Anyway, let's carry on with this.
The RSL and to tell Cameron's story in schools. He tried to limit.
Oh, there we go. RSL and tell Cameron's story in schools. Oh, sorry, chat. Bloody big horse. Stop making sense. It's politics, idiot. Honest government ads is sorry. That's getting paid to not make sense. Politicians. Bloody big horse. Never worn gumboots. Never mind combat boots. True. That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that one. Yeah, Dan likes that one. I like that one too. That was a good podcast you did with Willie and the bros down there as well. Enjoyed the yarns I had with Willie at Burnham. Real polite. Oh, that's awesome. You're right to be cautious. Free speech is under attack like never before. Yeah, it just feels like that. That thought just popped into my head as I was as I was doing this. But mind you, have had some thoughts. I'm just very vocal at times with some of the stuff, bits and pieces that I have seen, the little shorts, clips, and what the truck here by myself doing when I'm going through content and things like that. And then I had those thoughts then, well, I probably can't say that on some of my videos. Probably shouldn't say that either. And yeah, it just popped into my head during this live. You're not a convicted gang leader and fraudster, slightly different. Both have loyal cult followings, though. Hard case. Anyway, so let's get back to this gentleman here.
The deadlines on awarding of medals for valour to put applications in. He cut funding to the Invictus Games. This is a rather to limit sell and to tell Cameron's story in schools. He tried to limit the deadlines on awarding of medals for valour to
tried to limit the deadlines on the awarding of medals for valour. That just seems stupid. Why would you have a deadline on somebody who's been nominated, put forward, submitted for a Medal of Valor, gallantry, Star of Gallantry, VC, whatever? Why would there need to be a limit or a time limit put on that? That's just stupid.
To put applications in. He cut funding to the Invictus Games. This is a rap sheet.
I think the Invictus Games is what Heston Russell might have started. I might be wrong, but shout out to Heston Russell. Regardless, I know he's been heavily involved in a part of that. If he's not the person who started that, he's definitely been a strong supporter and advocate of it. Cut funding to that.
That should shame anyone, just one of these items. And then he's obviously refused to meet with veterans. Help people understand why
he's refused to meet with
this cap.
He's refused to meet with veterans. Why have you got the portfolio, bruz? Why does this twat Matt Keogh have a defence or anything to do with defence or veterans portfolio? Again, hence why I reckon surely you would put somebody in that position who's got some skin in the game or has had skin in the game. Like this guy would probably be the defence minister, I would imagine, for the Liberal Party. I think that's who he's with, the Liberal Party. Like I was saying, Josh Jacobson would probably be the guy for here. I think, so I don't know what Chris Pink here in NZ, former member of the National Party, with his failed coup attempt to oust Luxon. I don't know what his background is. Maybe he had some, but it just seems. Imagine putting Joe Hortai as the Attorney General for a political party, has no trucking idea about the legal system or law, not qualified, etc. Has never done anything in that space. It's just, it just seems weird, seems strange. Sorry, chat. Yep, and some comms he made were never made public. Wow. Imagine that. Has the portfolio, gets paid, doesn't work. Wild. Yeah. Won't meet with veterans. Won't do part of that. That would just be a small part of his job. That should be the main part of his job. Meeting with veterans from all walks of life, men, women, meeting with their families, getting an understanding of the impact on the families, stuff that Willie Apiata was doing and had been fighting for a long period of time with Veterans Affairs and that sort of thing. Well known, Willie, for talking about, the families, the spouses and partners served, the partners and children, each time the partner, the husband or the wife deployed away, the partner left at home with the children was basically on a deployment too, just a different type of deployment, a solo parenting deployment, so to speak. It's just crazy. Yeah, that's mad. Sorry. I'm the Prime Minister of New Zealand, but I'm never going to New Zealand to speak with those people. Hey, maybe Jacinda's still the Prime Minister of New Zealand, but she's living in Australia. Far out. Yeah, that's disgraceful, eh? How, and the Labour Prime Minister will do nothing about it. They'll have an excuse and a rationale and a defense as to why that's okay and to what the reasons were, or they'll make up and say, no, he didn't say or refuse to. He just couldn't meet with them at that time. There'll be some sort of BS nonsense made up, just like the Mellons jibe that he made about the Japanese president who came over and very important, sacred gift. And then that twat goes on a blink and trying to be one of the cool kids. It's like, bro, give it up. You're too busy attending the Mardi Gras for the last 35 years, you twat. Recently married, and then you go on that little comedy, that lady's comedy podcast or whatever, and then let everybody know that you want to blink and pump Kylie Minogue. And the Australian public seem to be, and all those that vote for Labour seem to be okay with it. It's just, you got those turd little bloody kids that left school to go and protest against One Nation, saying some rubbish about remove the Nazis. Just, yeah, trucking ridiculous, man. Weaponizing blinking brainless little teenagers. Like I said, all those little twats needed a kick in the backside, and so do their parents. I keep trying to recommend a video reaction, but find any comments with the link or title keep getting deleted automatically by YouTube. Oh, really? To me, sending a video reaction, send it to my email. So my email is go in the about on my channel. If you're talking to me, Sig, and then scroll down, do reveal email, and then just click on the capture, and then, yeah, and then my email will be there. And you can send it to me that way if you want to. If you're talking to me. New Zealand's Prime Minister of Agriculture, Todd McClay, is not a career farmer. His background is in international diplomacy. Really? Yeah, it's just, again, that would be another thing that I would look at doing. Cut the bloody wages of these twats that are in those positions when they've already got all the other expenses and stuff covered. They're not doing their job anyway, and it's not like they're doing everything themselves. But then recruit the right people that have got experience or that have got and or had significant skin in the game for the area of responsibilities that you're going to have them overseeing. Just seems stupid. Seems like rather than paying those ridiculous salaries and you've got people in positions overseeing several different portfolios who've got no experience in probably a lot of those, maybe I'm making a guess here, and they're not doing all that work anyway, maybe just recruit more, have a bigger pool of people, and then who have got expertise in those areas, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I don't know. At least in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Is that part of why is that part of how they justify their salaries? Maybe because they're overseeing these important portfolios, which they have no trucking idea about, or they don't have experience, like what this person here has said about Todd McClay. Shouldn't you have some basic knowledge of the subject matter of your portfolio? Yeah, that's exactly. So that's what I would have thought, but maybe that's just too common sense. Maybe Minister of Transportation doesn't even drive his own car. I would believe that. The diamond politicians are really the worst mafiosi. Yeah, it's crazy. Eh? There's some real rubbish stuff in there. Sig, coded video reaction request. Action man battlefield casualties. Ad parody. Oh, ad parody. Okay. Got to pay the 800 advisors who also have no clue. Yeah, like they have no doubt got a swarm of people who are probably doing truck all as well. Coding it seemed to have worked. Finally, censorship. Sucks hairy balls. Excuse me. Poeticus, yeah, man. Yeah, it's just crazy. Have to spell it coded or slightly different. There you go. Look at that. Team working together in the chat. I like it. Anyway, look at this. I still haven't bloody finished this video. Sorry.
Is such a problem for veterans, Phil?
So right now, a veteran in Townsville came to me, and he has post-traumatic stress disorder. He has a shoulder injury, a knee injury, and you know what? Life just got tough, and he's fallen over a bit, and he needs all these services, allied health services now. He will run out of this, or run over this $5,000 cap in a couple of months. Now, I've been in the dark place, and so have many veterans around the country. When you're looking up and all you can see in the dark hole is the little bit of light, which is the services you're getting, when that light gets taken away, what happens next? And I heard a veteran recently tell me that he won't be a burden for his family. This is a plan. This is going to create suicides. This is going to create so much harm in our community. And for the minister to say, "Oh, just pick the phone up and call the department,"
Man, he's just touched on something there. I could have stopped it earlier, as soon as or even before he got to that point about that little glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. And soldiers, well, I think people in general, a lot of people, males, I guess in particular, you don't want to be a burden on your family, eh? Like you don't. Most normal people don't want to be a burden on their family. And if, like what he's just touched on there, something really important that I hope the government takes some bloody time to have a listen to, or seriously considers, but they probably won't. The Labor government probably won't. Not if you've got a twat like this Keogh, and the government supporting him to strip these things away. Now, don't get me wrong. There may be some veterans. Not everybody is blinking are angels, right? There may be some veterans rorting the system. There may be. I don't know of any personally, which I'm glad. But there could be. But again, if they're worried about that, look at what's been happening with the NDIS and the billions of dollars that are walking out the door left, right, and center by foreigners who are employed in those positions, and then got a directorship, and then they're just fast tracking money. Then they're sending it off to Nigeria. And then they look to book themselves a one-way ticket. Then they get pulled up at the airport. Surely you can do some vetting and investigation if they're worried about that sort of stuff, people defrauding the system or whatever, because those veterans are in their country, right? It's mad to think that would probably have a massive impact. I reckon it would have a massive impact. I know some people that have access to some benefits and stuff through Veterans Affairs over there in Australia, and good on them. So they should. But that'll add definitely another level of complexity and hardship, mental, physical stress, anxiety, emotional anxiety, feelings of self-worth, depression, leading to just a downward spiral, man, for a number of people, a number of soldiers, like the person that this gentleman's talking about, who can already see that this is going to massively impact him. The sad thing is, man, just blinking, hopefully nothing like that happens, and that the suicide rate doesn't go through the roof or anything like that. Yeah, that's tough, man. Just wonder, I'd love to know what sort of conversations they're having about it. But if this twat won't even meet with veterans, how's he going to hear all of that? How's he going to have the information to base some of his decisions on, and or at least take back to those in his government and say, actually, what we're doing is trucking ridiculous. We can't do that. We can shore up the processes, application processes, maybe get some people to review those more carefully if they're worried about people defrauding the system. But I think that's a really poor decision, bad idea. Sorry, chat, bloody hell. There I was, just off in my own world for a bit there, thinking about some of the boys. Haven't played Hangman, coding it. Haven't played Hangman in years. But of all forms of censorship, self-censorship is the worst. Yeah, because then you start to feel like censoring myself right now on this live, as I was touching on earlier. I didn't use that word, self-censorship, but that is exactly what I just have chosen to do, because while I do want to still, like, I've chosen social media as my job. So I want to be able to keep doing it. But you are bang on, Sig. Where are we? Oh, where the bloody hell's that guy? Oh, yeah, there. I wouldn't know if they can't take a joke. Sig. No, that's for him. Poeticus. That and doing right, but get persecuted by the club. If you heard about it, obviously not. The club we aren't in. I wouldn't want to join a club that would have me as a member anyway. I like that. So I wouldn't want to join a club that would have you either. and does what it do, rather be out of the scope. Paul Goldsmith has 11 portfolios. One is the Minister of Pacific Peoples. That's crack up. Paul Goldsmith. Is that the Pākehā fellow with the glasses that I've seen before? Is that the guy, Dan? From the Tukelau Smiths, Poeticus, from the Tukelau Smiths, and he can barely recall them all. Fair enough, sounds awful, right? Carlo Parks, 250,000 a year of services, support workers, etc. for being a meth addict. NDIS is a circus. Holy trucking heck. Seems like I should just tell all the veterans, bro, you fellas just go do what did you say, for meth addicts? And then they'll probably get better services and support. Real deal, Hannah. Kia ora, Joe. You're going to go back and interview former NZSA soldiers again? Well, one of them, first off the rank that I'd like to chat with, which would have happened over the last school holidays just gone, was Jamie Pinnell. But he was too busy. Like he goes, oh, sorry, bro, can't make it now during these school holidays. Lots to come up. I said, oh, all good. He did offer. He did say, he goes, do you want to do it the more traditional way via video, like what I've done the other ones? So possibly. So it wasn't like he tried to get out of it. He goes, I can jump on online. It was just, I said, I'll travel to him, which I still will, and then go for a walk and talk in an area that maybe he has a connection with and do it that way. That's just where my head's at. That's just how I feel I want to do. I'd prefer to do the interviews as much as possible. What I realize, though, and what I am realizing and what I'm getting, dare I say, but I say this with respect, what I'm getting spammed with is people asking me to, bro, just go back to doing the interviews the way that I was doing them before on the Epic Aotearoa podcast with my brother-in-law, do them online that way. And they've made some good points. They said, you could see your numbers or subscriptions or whatever start to go up. That could generate opportunities to then be able to get to a stage whereby you create members only content for those types of interviews. It's behind a paid wall, and then people can pay for that, which could then potentially start to fund my ability to go and travel and do those types of things, which is a fair point. And I've appreciated those. And I've responded to those and basically just say, hey, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Something for me to think about. So yeah, there is some, if I could do that right and set that up, and then if people join, I think people would join a members only piece for some of that sort of stuff. Maybe not every person that I interview, but yeah, maybe for some. And it would take time. Like everything takes time. Like it's taken time for me to, fortunately get to where I'm at this stage. So things will continue to take time, and I'm already aware of that. Gone into this with a long-term plan anyway, or a long-term focus, definitely not a short-term one. So yeah, people out there have definitely given me things to think about. So thank you for all those comms. So we'll see what happens. But there's a long-winded answer to your short question. The answer is yes. But my approach of what I'm wanting to do is like more in person. And so yeah, the timings of that for people, where people are located, I've let them know I'll just fit into their schedule, whatever day and time that they have, for the most part, as best I can. And then as long as they can give me enough notice in morning, then I can just sort of schedule what I need to do. Travel, get out the calculator and work out how many dollars I need for petrol to travel from here to Auckland or to wherever, down to the South Island, etc. And go from there. Yeah, bloody hell. Sorry, bro, in terms of your question. Oh yeah, that was for Real Deal Hannah. Oh, haha, not Hannah. Real Deal haha 09. That's my answer. Carlo Parks is the meth free too. Hey Buckaroony, I've actually got your video with Huggo on here to show as well. Is that good-looking Māori girl that did the haka in Parliament still in politics over there? I don't know, probably. I don't even know. Is she must be Te Pāti Māori, I'm guessing. I would assume she is Buckaroony. Buck, yeah, I've got your video with Huggo, the live interview that you're doing, just on some of the parts there that I wanted to show tonight. Hopefully I'll get to that. But great job there with your channel, mate, and the interviews that you do. Rubber Kiwi. It is in LA unless you want the heroin or methadone. They dummy up the support workers' hours. The support worker splits it with the client. So yeah, no way it is. Can't drive down property prices with former drug addicts. Yeah, there's no way that would happen. So, interesting fact about methadone, it was invented in Germany in the early 1940s when the Germans were cut off from the Turkish poppy fields. Wow, that's wild, all right. How Dr. Fauci of them creating the disease and the cure. Yeah, mad, eh? Pardoned. How that happens, clearly, the president must have benefited. The president that gave him the pardon must have benefited somehow as well. It's crazy that stuff's allowed. That would have been an epic podcast with Jamie. Looking forward to it. Also, Tom would be another epic guest to have. My bad if I sound stalkerish. No, not at all. You sound like a number of other support. I take as supporters of the channel. They haven't unless they prove otherwise. I take it as support. So thanks for that. Yeah, I don't know him, but I have had interactions and stuff with him via Instagram and that sort of thing. I think I might have even had a phone call with him. I think he reached out. If it's the same guy, I think he reached out one time because he was in the Wili Apiata incident that happened as well, and he was just confirming for me, and I think it was might have been somebody else, but just confirming under no uncertain terms, like it was hectic, like the rounds and the lead coming into Willie and the boys that evening. There were a couple of other guys that got MGs during that evening as well, but obviously Willie got the VC. So yeah, I'd love to have a chat with him. I don't even know where he's based, so I haven't reached out to ask him yet, but he's definitely on the list. Sigsby, it was originally called Dolphin something. It was named after the former painter, though others think it was named after the Latin for suffering / pain, dolor, sweetmeat. Robert Kiv, no, that's for Robert. We never pardoned him. Yeah. You remind me of me. I don't like me. Rubber Kiwi and Sig. All right, let's see if I can get through the end of this.
I've got an insider in the department, and they told me that it would take up to 7 months for the extension of the $5,000 to be approved. This isn't good enough. This is such a fact.
It would take 7 months for the extension of the $5,000 to be approved. Is it? I think that's what it's been reduced to, or a maximum limit of 5,000. So even if that happens, if I'm hearing it right, even if that happens, it would take 7 months before that's approved. So veterans better start applying now, I guess, if that's what they're looking for or wanting to, or if that's what they need help with, I should say. That's mad. I don't like either of us. He's going to make us sit up front soon, bro. Man.
Failure, and the veterans are going to be so worse off because of this incompetent minister.
And we're talking there, when you say allied health services, so people at home can follow me, we're talking about, say, physio, a bit of OT, psychiatric or psychological services.
So it doesn't sound like a heck of a lot. It's not like they're asking for a blinking brand new multi-million-dollar exoskeleton suit or whatever to get up and about. Some OT, some physio, some medical, some mental stuff, potentially, maybe some educational bits and pieces to help, because heaven forbid a veteran who may not have the greatest education might want to get upskilled. And if they could, through the form of some of their service, the injuries that they've had, and if they're eligible for something that could potentially help them get a little bit more education so that they may be able to contribute more to their community and society in general in a positive way, heaven forbid that they might want to see if they can get a portion of funding to help them, give them a better chance of getting other type of employment. Just why you have somebody that has no idea or has never served in a military capacity sitting in their armchair, refusing to meet with veterans and making these decisions based on what? I don't know. I'd love to just ask him. I'd love to ask these sort of people, like, what have you made the decisions on, bruz? Like, how have you come to the determination that a cap at $5,000, if that's what the cap is what it should be? And why are you removing all of these other benefits that veterans should have, while at the same time giving $1.1 billion to blinking Muslim mosques, whatever it is that's going up, and or importing in terrorists that left this country to go away and support people fighting against the soldiers that you sent overseas to go and fight against them? It's ridiculous, man. Australia, I hope Labor doesn't get in, but man, it's looking they just seem very overt. They really couldn't care less. That's why I wonder to myself, what is going to be the breaking point? What would cause the Defence Force and or even the first responders, police, to stand up and go, truck this twat? Why are we bringing in, here's AFP, here's your standard police, here's your military, you've got the ASIO and AFP and police looking to fight against terrorism, detectives doing all the secret work, secret intelligence services and all this, or special intelligence services, whatever they want to call themselves, allegedly working hard, doing very important work, and it is. Only to have your government go, you know what, well done, but we don't really care. We're just going to import all of these people from known terrorist hotspots, known terrorist organizations, people that we know actually left our country to go and support and got married to and had blinking offspring to terrorists, and now we're going to bring them back. Just as does that feel like you're getting slapped or spat in the face by the government, that then those first responders, the police, law enforcement and military, are then responding to and supporting and doing yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir? Like, that's what we're going to do? I wonder what the tipping point would be. I think about the New South Wales gun buyback scheme. And like I said, I've never been a firearms owner, but I've thought about that recently, just since seeing the news and thinking to myself, man, if I was, this is just me personally, if I was one of the people that's been a law-abiding, firearms-holding person out on my land, using it for whether it's hunting or just competition shooting, whatever, and have never had an incident, never had an issue, never had an inkling to go out and do any sort of stupid things with my weapons that I've saved up for, gone and purchased, done all the checks and balances, passed all the security checks and testing and vetting, use it out of enjoyment because I enjoy shooting however often they go out and shoot. I don't know that I would be giving up personally. I don't know that I would be giving up my weapons so freely or easily. I can't help but think I'd be inclined to go around and rally whoever these other firearms holders are, the legitimate ones, the good ones. Again, the group of people, I assume the police there have got a database of all these firearms holders, and they've gone, yep, all of these people, you need to come hand in these weapons or your weapons or these types of weapons if you've got them in your possession. They've got the list of all the people that have done nothing wrong. You're punishing the people, the good ones that have had firearms licenses for, dare I say, years. Some of them might be fairly new, so I don't know. But I would say an opportunity to use some common sense and maybe some discretion and go, you know what? Old mate here has had his weapons for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. I reckon maybe those that have had their firearms licenses and their firearms, the types of firearms that we're wanting to pull in for the last 10 years, and they've never had a single incident with it, maybe it's okay to let them keep their weapons. You know what I mean? But some of these newer ones, let's just put a hold on it. Putting in so much time, effort, and energy into taking weapons off good people that seems like they're not giving a truck about the criminals mincing around out on the streets, doing drive-by shootings, putting at risk and at danger innocent civilians out on Civvy Street, and or who are carrying out executions with illegal firearms out on the street and getting away with it. It's just mind-blowing to me. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a firearms owner. I don't know if any of those firearms people in New South Wales are having those sort of thoughts, but that's been the sort of thoughts pop in my head. If I was one of those firearms owners that's had it for a long, many, many years, never had any issues, got no intention of doing anything sinister with it, I would likely be looking to, as best I can, dig my heels in and try to get whoever else is in my area or the New South Wales area similarly, and going, man, we need to try to fight this buyback scheme. Some of the people's weapons cost like in the thousands of dollars, and they're only going to get back like a few $100, maybe $1,000 maximum. So they're going to be shortchanged like several $1,000s for the weapons that they have. That, again, in and of itself is just ridiculous. That's just for the weapon. What about for the ammunition that they've likely got and purchased? How does that all work? Yeah, it just seems like, I don't know, man. Seems like they're targeting the wrong people. And as I've been yapping away, the bloody chat is going here. Apologies, pardoned. No, read that. He's going to make us sit at the front. I think that was to me. Charlie29. Their eyes roll, even having to commit to be a minimum for services people need. Yeah, they don't seem to roll their eyes when Blink and old a Muslim or a foreigner comes in and then puts out their hand in their neck minute. Yep, $1 billion. Here you go. They had $300 million to give to the special investigator to go after SAS boys, but no money for veterans' health. Yeah, crazy, eh? Buck, it's just putrid, all right, bro. Great replacement theory. They don't care about citizens because they have a plan to replace us. It's easier to 100% divide and conquer people with no history here and don't share our national identity. Putrid's accurate. Yep. I'm old enough that my first firearms license was supposed to be lifelong. Now I have to reapply every couple of years. Wow, far out. I don't go out and do silly things with my skill saw. It's a tool. It has a purpose like any other tool. Hey, very true. Very true. Registration is always a prelude to confiscation. Look at that. That's big brain moves. If you outlaw firearms, only the outlaws will be armed. That's what I mean. That's why I think it's played on my mind so much the last few days, is because those with firearms, and probably most of those in New South Wales are probably out in Whoop Whoop, Lincoln, farmers and all that sort of stuff, who have likely had their firearms for generations, weapons that have been in their family for generations, Lincoln, probably 50 plus years where they've had no incidents with their firearms, and now they've got to give these things back, or legislation's been passed. And we've got, imagine that, all the good people hand back their weapons. I'd hate to say it, but there's going to be some shonky deals that will be happening with firearms that come in. You can't tell me that some of those firearms aren't going to magically find their way into hands of criminals. Like, it just, nobody's convincing me otherwise that isn't a possibility, and that probably will happen. Get rid of the Blinken serial numbers, etc., of those that do hand in their weapons, and a bunch of these weapons are going to make their way in. Organized crime has already got links into prison systems. They've already got links into the political parties. They've already got links into, believe it or not, the authorities. And that's a sad thing. Not everyone, obviously, but that's just a reality. Like, yeah, it's crap. Or that's at least my reality. Like, if I knew who the people were, I'd be saying who they are. Like, I don't know who it is, but it's just the way of the world and how money talks, and Blinken, people, make decisions which are not very good ones, but maybe at the time it seems like a good one, and it seems like they can get away with it, and so they go down a dark path which ends up having significant consequences and could result in the loss of life through all those little minions along the chain somewhere. Where are we? We got Medicare. Imagine if it cut at 5K, not a huge amount of other services for veterans. The average Joe gets most of those services, priority service for veterans. Cheers for that, Jason. And confiscation of firearms is always a prelude to tyranny, by the way. Hey, Joe, I'm late to the party. I'm sorry if you've seen the Australian minister disrespect the veterans yesterday on the 60th anniversary of Long Tan. I'm embarrassed by my government. Yeah, hey, not your fault, Nick. And thank you for your service too, bro. Yeah, it is pretty disgraceful. How impossible is a covert maritime insertion of a few men and a couple of crates, Joe? Not very impossible at all. Yeah, look at how many weapons magically leave the office. It's a bit hectic. self-fulfilling vibes. Yeah, just crazy. Nah, they dropped the firearms registry for years. Then they brought it back. So who knows what's out in NZ? Someone had 500 guns down south. Really? Okay. Wow. Got rid of the registry here in NZ. You're talking about, Dan? That's crazy. There was it Tatari something or other? Can't remember. There was a time where I was going to look at potentially working in that space. Not long, it popped up on my radar. Not long after I left the reintegration service, doing some work for the firearms people, the licensing thing. And I think part of the job basically was to go out and about in the communities and build relationships and that sort of thing. Anyway, long story short, I was like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to do that. Can't be bothered. Again, maybe if I was a gun person, like if I was into guns and if I had my own firearms and that sort of thing, maybe. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, nah. So I didn't. Lost 499 in a terrible boating accident. Lost 499. Bloody hell. Crazy. 500 guns, beginner numbers. Yep, South Island still holds cheapest guns in the country. Doubt if it's because it's the South. Wow. Sorry, let me see if I can finish this off.
Because it's not just the physical stuff or the mental stuff. You rightly say all of it can collide at the one time. And this is why an arbitrary cap doesn't work for veterans.
Oh, correct. You know, the shoulder injury to the knee, to the ankle, to the tinnitus where my ears ring, to post-traumatic stress disorder. When it's all on, it's on. And when it hurts, it hurts. And when you fall over, no veteran that I know is expecting a handout. They want a hand up, and they're looking at a government that's just taken that away.
Well, they've earned the hand up. That should never be a question in a country like ours. Phil, keep it up. Keep it up. I want to see him gone by the end of the week. That's the least we can do for veterans tonight. Thank you for joining me.
Want to see him gone by the end of the night. Wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't that be good, eh? Blaine can get rid of the twat. What an idiot. Jeez. How long is it? That's over an hour. Like that was like a 4-minute clip. And there's heaps of other stuff. So yeah, I appreciate those that I suppose go, let me know if I'm spamming too much or whatever, or apologies for the spam. Spam away. Spam away. I just, now that I've discovered the bookmarking tool on Instagram, I can just bookmark stuff and then save them there, and then I can just get rid of them after. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff, plus all the reaction video stuff and links that I have. So yeah, if you've got things in particular that you're wanting me to react to or show, well, you know, there's a big long line. There are a handful of people. So sorry, shout out to those people that have sent through some paid reaction requests recently. I think I spoke about this on the other live, but have been generous with the time frame. So I'll be looking to prioritize those, get those reactions done first for you, and then get those uploaded. Like some of the ones that have gone up, like the joke from Jimmy Carr. That was a paid reaction request. Again, I just thought there was nothing in that. The one about the soldiers who unfortunately died during selection. Yeah, there was somebody else quite passionate about, you're missing the point of what the researcher was talking about, and I'm surprised you even passed selection. I couldn't help but laugh. I just put, okay, mate, and then just left it. Yeah, but the vast majority of people that have got experiences and stuff as well, in terms of what they've seen, I think by and large, mostly the normal people probably understood what I was trying to get across, or my take anyway, in terms of my reaction to that. So yeah, people like that have sent through videos for paid reactions, and then just asked if I could spread them out over a few days in between, so not all one hit. So yeah, people that have done that, shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for those. I will do those, and then they will be I can close that, don't need that open, and they'll be up in the coming, probably, dare I say, few weeks, based on what's there at the moment, because I'd already done a whole bunch of videos. So I'm ahead of the game, so to speak. I'm ahead of schedule. Got a bunch of videos that have already been pre-recorded and uploaded. So they're sitting there waiting to go. And then got these paid request reaction videos to do, which I'll get onto and then put those up. So the rest of you that have been kind enough and pumping things through, I try to share them on these live streams as best I can because there is quite a lot of stuff. But otherwise, the reactions will come in due course down the line. What's this? Buckaroo. Hey, Joe, my eldest cousin was on the gun line at Long Tan. Wow. Echo Gun 105 battery. He remembers the radio saying Fire Mission Regiment, and he sprinted to his gun. The Kiwis were the online battery. Wow. That's mad, man. The stories and stuff that must have come from that, or the history that your cousin must have. Jeez. Le Diamond, thumbs up. Yes, respect. All right. Poeticus, ideally they don't follow NZ National Party ways to coup. Warheads literally on foreheads that day, Buck. Holy hell. Vince ever since. G'day, Vince. Get any paid requests today? Nope. No paid requests today. Don't get them every day. Like, they're few and far between. Which is all good. Bugger. Where are we up to? All right. Oh, this one. Daniel Kieran, VC, Australian lad. This is pretty rubbish. I'd seen this before, but this also got sent through as well. Maybe from one of yous here on this thing, on this chat. Let's go share. Not wrong, Rubber. The Yardie boys saved a lot of lives. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Veteran forced to sell Victoria Cross. What rubbish is this? Play.
Corporal Daniel Kieran would be awarded the Victoria Cross for his bravery in Afghanistan on the 24th of August 2010.
The first 30 seconds of that engagement, I thought it was all over for me personally, just because it was that close.
Imagine that, eh? The first 30 seconds, here's a guy who thinks, this is it, I'm done, toast here, but I'm going to do what I've been asked to do, or what I feel I need to do anyway. Unreal. Massive respect.
Would deliberately act as bait for a triangulation of Taliban gunfire.
Deliberately putting himself out there as bait. Sounds similar to some of the actions that Mark Donaldson was awarded as VC for as well. Here I am, guys. Shoot at me.
And to distract from the medical evacuation of a wounded comrade, as he told Nine's Mark Burrows just days after the action.
We're going to jump up, go for a bit of a run, try and draw some fire.
Is what you did.
Listen to that. It's just very matter of fact. We're going to jump up, go for a bit of a run, try and draw some fire. Those are the types of men that you get to go out in the sand, in the dirt, and on operations with, just not making any big deal out of it. As I look at this guy and listen to him talking about what he did. This is just a few days after, apparently, his actions. He'd have no idea, more than likely, that he's going to be nominated for a Victoria Cross. I don't know how long after his deployment he was awarded the Victoria Cross, but I would assume it's several months, maybe even been a few years or over a year or whatever. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But that's an awesome mindset and attitude to have, just listening to that.
Very brave, or
Very stupid, yes. Wouldn't call it brave, just part of, the whole contact and that.
But Daniel Kieran now faces...
Definitely brave, and just very, seems like a very under the radar type of guy. I've never met the guy. I never met the man. Daniel Kieran, VC.
A different fight, one many in Australia do likewise. And he has put his VC up for auction.
He and his partner.
Now that piece, when I heard that, is, again, to me, is just disgusting, disgraceful. Come on, Veterans for Affairs Minister. Like, surely there's, if you've got a soldier that's been awarded the highest military honor for his actions, surely there's something that can be done to help him and his family. He wouldn't be asking for a lifelong, I doubt he would be asking for any sort of lifelong thing. He'd probably just be, like I was talking earlier about, oh, can I maybe get into a job, or get some further education to be able to get a better paying job, so that he must have some bills or whatever that him and his family need to get on top of. I'm not trying to say have a woe is me, feel sorry for me type thing for Daniel Kieran VC, but he shouldn't have to sell his VC. It's just mind blowing to me that the government can't step in, that the ADF can't step in, do something. So yeah, just surely there's something that can be done, or at least it should be at least tabled and discussed. Hey, why have we got, here's a guy here. I mean, I suppose people might then say, oh, what about all the other veterans, etc., etc. And that's probably a fair point too. But I don't think the country or I don't think other ADF veterans would begrudge a Victoria Cross winner getting a little bit of extra support so that he doesn't have to sell his VC. I don't think that's unreasonable. Right.
His partner discussed it at length. They said they didn't make the decision lightly. He's got a family that depended on him, so that's the only reason he's really selling the medal.
The last VC sold was awarded posthumously to Jack French for actions during the Second World War in New Guinea.
And that realised equivalent of $1.8 million.
It's hoped the VC will find its way to the Australian War Memorial.
Just on that, imagine the history, the preservation of the history of those actions of Jack French. The last VC to be sold was posthumously awarded, I think it said, to Jack French. Imagine the preservation of the history and of his actions that has been kept over the years in order for him. I don't know when he got awarded that posthumous VC, but I assume it's many, 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 many years after the fact. But it's awesome that that preservation of his actions was preserved so that he could get that. Then it was sold, whoever brought it. 1.8 million. Far out. Wow. How do you put a price on somebody that has earned the highest award whereby they literally could have died? And as he mentioned, within the first 30 seconds, he thought it was over for him. That's his take and his perspective. He's not nominating or submitting himself for the Victoria Cross. That's coming from his peers and from his leaders. The fact that this is even a video or a thing that is being considered or that should have to happen is just beyond me.
While he may be forced to sell his court-mounted group of 10 medals that also include his service in East Timor and Iraq, the legacy of Daniel Kieran's...
Forced. Like, there must be something, going on there for him to be in the situation to be doing that. Now, I don't know. People might say, oh, maybe he just needs to be better with budgeting and financing and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Maybe that is the case. Maybe we're living beyond our means. Who knows? But I think if it was at least discussed and then investigated and looked into, then maybe you could come up with a decision. Oh, yeah, okay, now the person's just been really rubbish or poor with money or whatever. We can provide some assistance and help, but, blah, blah, blah. But if they haven't been and it's just, I don't know, cost of living or injuries or I don't know what's going on in a situation, why he's in the position that he has to sell his VC or his series of medals. But it's pretty sad that is the case, and that there isn't at least, sounds like there isn't at least some sort of conversation happening in and around it, or hasn't happened.
Kieran's bravery will always remain.
He goes after his name, VC, always. So he's known as Daniel Kieran VC, and that'll never change, as all recipients of VCs do.
In Sydney, Mike Dalton, 9 News.
Wow, 24th of August 2010, I just shared on there. Crazy, mad. What's up, chat? Sorry. No wrong. The Artie boys saved a lot of lives. Anzac Brothers, that's how roll the dime. Do you think there should have more safety measures taken for selection? GPS, heart tracking, reflecting, whatever. Honestly, I'm not an internet commando expert, so I don't know. So they have, Le Diamond, great question. So I think I was talking about that. I might not have spoken about it. I probably should have. Didn't think of it, actually, but I don't think I spoke about it when I was doing my reaction to that Why Did They Die video recently, and the UK SF guys that went on selection. But they didn't have trackers in my time when I did selection in NZ or in Australia. They do have tracking devices now that they use. And I don't know how long they've been incorporated or implemented, but I'd say for a few years now, they've had tracking devices that candidates have in their gear. Some people suggested, oh, maybe they could have heart rate monitors on them. It's like, you're not wearing a heart rate monitor when you're out on operations. I understand the training aspect of it, but and that it's not operations potentially. But even then, I know of people that have worn heart rate monitors that can hold and sustain what people might look at and say that's a ridiculously high, some might even say dangerously high beats per minute heart rate level for quite an extended period of time. And they appear to be fine. But somebody sitting back looking on a screen with all these screens like tracking devices here, heart rate monitors here, beep, beep, beeps, like a movie sort of thing. It just, I don't know where that ends. And all of that costs money, all of that costs resources, all of that costs time. You could look to do it, incorporate heart rate monitors and that sort of thing if they wanted to, but I personally don't think it's necessary. Tracking devices, I think it's great. From that perspective, what they do when they have directing staff along various parts, not just at the checkpoints, but in between checkpoints and in other various parts of the training area. For some of those reasons, they have the quad bikes and motorbikes and vehicles, medical staff. There's a lot of planning and organization that goes into a selection course, making sure that you've got all the resources and the staffing, etc. Obviously critical parts of that, and then making sure that all the planning and how all of that works, and making sure that the understanding and the distances, the distances of the checkpoints, but also the time between candidates and when they leave is also factored in. The constant radio comms between the directing staff, the instruction that you are given that when you're reporting to the directing staff and you're telling them where you are, where you're heading to, the distance that it is, the bearing that you're on, how long you expect it to take you, and your estimated time of arrival at that checkpoint are all parts of the health and safety, dare I say health and safety management before that was even because those are the sorts of things that to do here at 98 on selection. Those are the sorts of things that you're needing to do and give before you even step off. That stuff is captured by the directing staff. They have an understanding of it. They log that down for the purposes of, okay, we haven't heard from this person. They haven't arrived at the time that they said, because back then, like I said, we didn't have trackers. You had an ANPRC 77 set. And you had your frequencies and your radio up. And if you were to get in trouble, the expectation, a lot of onus on the individual, because that's who you're going to be relying on when you go, if you get into the unit and deploy yourself and your teammates, to blink in, take the appropriate steps, make the right decisions as best you can based on where you're at that time and what's happening and what's going on for yourself and for the people that you're with. So, what else did you say? GPS, yes. Heart tracking, I don't think so. I just, if they do it, they do it. That may be something that they might incorporate. I don't know. So what happens then? Are they going to set thresholds that do the age times whatever it is, gives them, this is the maximum heart rate per minute? And if they go above that, then we've got to radio them up and tell them to stop. Like, it just doesn't, to me, I don't see and understand how that practically makes any sense. Because then is it going to be, oh, well, I got radioed up and told to stop because my heart rate was too high, so therefore I didn't make it to the checkpoints on time, so I shouldn't be disadvantaged for not passing the selection and not getting to all the checkpoints and not doing everything that everybody else has done from the past leading up to where we are now. Like, again, if that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. So I've been disadvantaged for that, so I should be able to progress on to, I should not have failed. Like, it just leaves too many gaps and holes, in my opinion, for blink and useless weasels to find a way around the system to circumvent it or to put up a protest, or dare I say a PG, and blink and weasel their way in. Great question. Nothing against your question. What else have you got? Reflecting, whatever. Oh yeah, there's definitely big marker panels that are used. Even during my selection, we had big orange marker panels on our packs, and I think they got bright yellow ones and stuff these days, and they got big candidate numbers and stuff on them as well, so when staff are out there, they can use their optics and have a look and see who's who and make notes out in the training grounds and training areas. Instructions are given to candidates: don't move after dark. with the trackers, it's a little bit easier to monitor and track now to make sure that people aren't, because of the safety risks, and people may get injured and take a bad tumble or whatever. And, you know, back in those days, for my time anyway, and prior to, without those tracking devices, people could and likely would take a few more risks. Like I would on my selection here in NZ, especially in close country when there's, you know, lots of deadfall and stuff that you could have tripped up and had bad accidents or whatever, put your foot in the wrong place. I still moved for as long as I could until it was just like, okay, yeah, this is probably not good for me to carry on moving out in close country. So I'm going to rest up, get a few hours rest, because you're on your own then, and then get up soon as before it's light, start packing everything up. And then soon as that light starts to peek through the canopy, you're blinking up and moving again. One, to get warm. Two, because you don't know if you're doing well for time. So a lot of the ownership responsibility is on the individual to do what they need to do, to prepare as well as they can, but to also be accepting and understanding that the job that you're looking to go into comes with massive inherent risks, not only on operations, but in the training that you're choosing to do, that you're volunteering to do. And the sad reality is, like with anything in life, anybody doing anything, this isn't is not unique to Blinken Special Forces soldiers. The possibilities of dying and training are real, and they're unfortunate. They're sad. It doesn't make it any easier. Heaven forbid it happens to someone. And I think I shared on my reaction video, I'd hate for that to happen to one of my children, but I already know and understand, as they do, like, you know, be careful. That's why I speak with them when they've gone into there before they're on basic, two that are already in now, in the infantry battalion, one that's on basic training. Like, pay attention, do what you're told to do, look out for yourself, look out for your mates. And yeah, that's just that's the best anybody can hope for, that they do pay attention, that people do the right thing, and that the instructors are very capable and competent in their instruction, which I'm sure they are, and that the students participating, you know, do their part. I think what the researcher was talking about, in my opinion anyway, he made it sound like things were taken out of the control of candidates on that selection, and that they couldn't stop because of the time pressure. They could, at the end of the day, any candidate can stop whenever they want. That's how selection is. Any candidate can stop whenever you want. You can withdraw whenever you want. You can stop and rest whenever you want. You can stop and catch your breath whenever you want. Even if you were to get yelled at during some of the PT sessions on the Australian selection, as an example, you can still stop, catch your breath. You don't have to quit, but you can stop if you need to. So again, the onus is on the individuals, but those that want to be there, like, there's something else that's driving those individuals that want to go, that want to be there, I should say. And so they'll either make a decision to keep going because they feel that that's what they need to do. And sadly, it cost the lives of 3 soldiers by the sounds of things. One of them, from what I remember from the reaction, died tragically of a heart attack. The 3 on the selection course I'm talking about, not the 4th person that they spoke about with the diving portion of it, by the sounds of things. So one died of a heart attack. So who knows what potential sort of underlying health issues may have been there for that, unfortunately, for that soldier. Somebody said, that untrained or something like that. UK is very different to NZ and Australia. I think there's a minimum of 3 to 5 years before you can even attempt to do selection. So, they've got some experience and runs under their belt. They are trained. They would have been trained in hot weather, cold weather, everything in between with regards to their conduct and fieldcraft and all that sort of thing, regulating body temperature and things to do if they feel themselves starting to overheat. When you're starting to get hot and sweaty, then you're starting to feel that heat stress and the different signs and symptoms associated with that, and then trying to mitigate those sooner rather than later before you go into heat stroke. And then all the blinking sweating and everything stops, and you're going real bright red, basically. Heart rate is probably pumping through the roof, and which can lead to blinking some of the tragedy and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the lads, rest in peace, those fellas, man. And massive respect and credit to them for putting up their hand. They chose that. That's what they wanted to do. And like I've shared, and Jamie Pinnell has shared similar as well. I'm glad it didn't happen for me, and I'm sure Jamie is the same. But there was only 3 ways I was coming off selection in NZ and Australia. For me personally, I made that decision before I went, whether my mum liked it or not. Not that my mum knew, and not that I told anybody about it until being out and then being on social media when people have asked. How did you not quit? How did you get through selection? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think separates people? Probably not everybody has the same mindset or thought as what I had or Jamie Pinnell. But when I heard Jamie speak, I was like, man, I had the same. I remember saying that a while ago when I'd been asked. The only way I was coming off selection was if I broke something. So medically couldn't carry on, so I had to be removed, or the directing staff removed me because I was too slow, didn't meet the requirements, which does happen on selection. Or 3, for me, as dramatic as it may sound, was if I died. Like that's how much it meant to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that for people that are, regardless of who you are and what you do, if you're invested in something and it's something that's super important to you, or you give something the relevance and importance that that it ends up having to you. In this case, that's the relevance and importance that I gave that type of job to me. That's what I felt like I was prepared to do. Did it get to that stage where I felt like I was going to die? No, it didn't. Not at all. So could I speak with any sort of authenticity? Oh, would you really die though? Would you really? Don't know, because fortunately, I never reached that stage, or I never felt like I reached that stage at all. Not in the New Zealand selection, not on the Australian one. I don't know of, and I don't know if Jamie ever felt like he ever reached that point whereby he may have felt like he was going to die. I'd say probably not. And I think, by and large, for myself personally, I think the reason that I probably didn't reach that point, I would say, is probably because of the work and preparation that I knew I'd put in prior to. I still didn't expect to get through or that it was going to I still didn't expect for it to be easy. I knew that it was going to be hard. I expected, though, to be there at the end, come rain, hail, or shine, or whatever. So I think those parts, those elements, and again, that's not saying that there's 3 guys who, rest in peace, are those guys that passed away. I think there may have been 4 in the end with the diving one. I think it was a 4th person, but 3 on the same selection course, I think, is what the video was initially about. That's not to say that they didn't prepare and train the house down either. They very well may have. And given the fact that UK's SF has got I don't know if it's 3 years or 5 years, maybe it's 5 years minimum service before they can apply for selection, or 4 years, but I say 3 to 5 because I think it may be in and around that ballpark area. Whereas NZ and Australia was very different. I can't speak for what Australia's like these days. Maybe they've put a cap on, or a time limit minimum that they have to serve first in their corps or in the military before they can go on selection. But I don't think it is anyway. So yeah, lots to go into that. Sorry for the long download there, the Diamond Dog, but I appreciate your question. Are there other things that they could potentially do to improve the selection? Well, they've got tracking devices. They've had the marker panels for many, many years. They've got the staff everywhere dotted throughout, not just at checkpoints. There's always water at the checkpoints to top up. You're always given the instruction to make sure that those water bottles are full before you leave. You're issued with an emergency ration pack. You're issued with radio communication. There's medical personnel and resources on standby dotted throughout the training ground. There are, dare I say, QRF type resources on hand so that for those purposes, people with quad bikes, motorbikes, etc., and fresh staff and medical trained staff as part of those selection courses. Like, again, there's so much wrapped into a selection course. I personally feel like current state of play and the selections that I've been privileged to be a part of, minus the tracking devices that we didn't have during my time, I feel like, and I'm confident that they review the selection processes after each selection, and dare I say, at least probably annually, and they look at what could be done better, and they probably look to implement changes and or improve things. Could they do anything more? Man, I feel like they've got and are doing as much as they can. And for a job like that, they're just, in my opinion, there comes a point whereby the onus is on the individual who wants to go and serve there, and you make the call. If you feel like you can't continue, stop. Like, that's up to you. But again, if your wiring upstairs and your mindset and your drive is such that, it potentially puts you in a position or a situation whereby you are willing to risk it all, and by risk it all, it potentially puts your life at risk for those individuals, which may have been the case. That may have been why they chose not to stop. I don't know. Maybe they just thought, I've got to keep going. I've got to complete this. this task. If I don't, I'm not going to get into the unit. And I already committed to, I'm just spitballing here. Maybe they already committed to in their mind, in and of themselves, didn't tell anybody else. Like I said, I didn't tell my mum or any of my friends, bro, I'm not, anyway, I'm coming off this selection is if I die, or if I get kicked off, or if I break something. I didn't feel like I needed to tell anybody that before I went on selection, but that was the wiring that I had upstairs, or felt that I had. And then sadly, tragically for those 3 guys, that's what happened. The guy that passed away with the on the diving, after recommendations and stuff about the kits, I think it was outdated or whatever from memory, and that it shouldn't have been used, and that they needed to get new kit before they carried on with that type of training. That was pretty shocking. But again, I would say, not surprising. Doesn't mean that it's okay, but not surprising that something like that would happen. So, when I think it was all being put towards the MOD, Ministry of Defence, and they say that the priority, safety and well-being, and priority is always our people. Priorities change all the time. They always change all the time. It's a phrase or a sentence that's get used. Our people are our number one priority. Our people are our highest priority, because they know if they say anything else in bold statements, blinking people, there'll be an uproar more than likely. Would it change anything? Probably not. So I have that there. People are always our number one priority. I don't think for a second, this is just my take, soldiers, because I didn't think that was the case. I always thought, and you'll hear operators from the regiment and that as well talk about the mission, like successful completion of the mission or complete the mission is the priority. So you hear that, but then the broader Defence Force has got this statement: our people are the number one priority. Well, like I said, priorities always change. Missions are critical and important depending on what the priorities are. That improvise, adapt, and overcome, as cliche as that may sound, that is a common thing in the military, dare I say probably in the police force and first responders as well. And it's not uncommon for years in organizations in the military in general, and dare I say in first responders, they've likely been improvising, adapting, and overcoming and making things work with the limited resources or the outdated equipment that they've had for years and years and years. And so therefore, again, the statement doesn't line up with the actual physical products, the kit and equipment, the training, and the execution of all of that stuff as you go down the line, in my opinion and in my experience and observation, because, there's plenty of good kit out there that you could get that would make things a heck of a lot better, safer, more efficient, more effective, for the soldiers or for the users, for the people that are part of that organization, in this case, the Defence Force, and make it more lethal for the enemy. But all of that stuff, again, costs money. And so this is what we've got. We've got to make do. Hence why Greg Pup Johnson and others have spoken about the acquiring activities whilst on deployment. You've heard the UK guys, 22SS guys, Des Powell. Shout out to Des, author of Bravo 30, this book right here. Got to work with him in the private sector, speaking about some of the shenanigans that he got up to, and them going over and catching up with the US SF guys, who were very, as he described them, very willing to share and give them gear like ammunition, blanket, whatever else that they needed. They're trying to win hearts and minds, even with other coalition forces, building those relationships with them and then with the locals and all that sort of stuff. Like, soldiers are going to do what they need to do so that they can perform their job as well as they can, and or get whatever equipment they can that they feel, that they need, so that it can enable them to be able to do their job as well as they can. So it still continues to this day. Our people are our number one priority. It sounds nice for the media. It sounds nice for the families. It sounds nice maybe for the soldiers, but those that have spent any time in there and or gone on any operations, or even just in training, if you've been doing even just high-level training but never deployed on operations and that sort of thing, maybe not even just high-level training, just training in general, you've likely observed and seen, bloody hell, we don't even have this, we don't even have that. Truck me, why can't we get this? Well, probably comes down to those dollars and cents at that time, and but you just crack on and you get on with the job anyway. So again, probably going off topic there, but that's not to try to diminish what happened to, unfortunately, the guy that died with the diving situation. Yeah, that's horrendous. So again, when I was talking in that reaction, where does the buck stop? Who signed off on it? based on the reports that they had from however long ago that shouldn't be using this stuff, was that information communicated to those that authorize this equipment? Were those that use the equipment, were they aware that this was the type of kit and equipment that they were not supposed to be using because of the risks associated with it? So again, that what's the name? User responsibility, for want of a better term, not at all to try to put it on the individual that's passed away, because then there's a whole nother conversation about the pressure that comes to just get on with the job, and those people that'll be like, oh well, we've been doing this for however many years. There's been a handful of incidents. Yeah, we have got this recommendation, but it seems like it doesn't happen all the time. You know what I mean? There's all these other conversations that will spawn off into other areas in soldiers' minds. Then, heaven forbid, somebody say you're soft for not doing it. Holy heck. Heaven forbid somebody go, oh, come on, man, stop being soft, you know, from that, whichever generation you're from, so to speak. And then that adds more blanket peer pressure onto the individual to go, oh man, I've got to do this. And then tragically, next minute, that bloody thing fails because it was on its last legs and it was on its way out, whatever it was that failed, which resulted in and or contributed to that soldier's death. Yeah, heaps. Way more than my blinking tiny little brain can solve anyway. But I just took blinking 2 hours to answer your question, Le Diamond. As well as I could. Apologies for taking so long, but those are my thoughts. Kiwi, it's got to be done. No point getting excited about it or thinking about it. Just go do it. I definitely think it needs to be, you know, especially in the case like the regiment, you're after thinking soldiers. So I've got no problem with questioning and thinking about stuff. And for me and some of the training that we've done and the guys that I served with, like that was what we did. Oh, why are we doing that? Why are we doing it that way? Or shouldn't we approach it from this angle? Why would we use that charge? Why wouldn't we use this charge? You know, just they may seem like innocuous things to people, but that's, well, I suppose that just came with some of my wiring, and dare I say, I know it came from some of my training from here in NZ before going to Australia, and being curious was probably one of the really I suppose, yeah, somebody asked me what was one of the best pieces of advice. Apologies to whoever that was on a previous live stream, and I said I'd come back to it, and I bloody didn't even. I had a leader share with me talking about the importance of just being curious and maintaining a curiosity, particularly with the work in the military. And when he went on to talk about that, spoke about being curious and just asking questions in a curious manner, not confrontational or any of that sort of thing. You can ask questions respectfully, is how I interpreted that, and you can even ask them with a sense of humility, in terms of, if that's the right word, delivering it in a humble way, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but respectfully, however you want to put it across, rather than being confrontational. So asking those with genuine curiosity around why would we do it like that, or do you think if we did it this way, this might be a bit better, or what are your thoughts around? I hear what you're saying there with regards to that, but what are your thoughts around if we maybe did this, or if we maybe use this instead? What do you think? Because I think this is something that could be a benefit, and then give you a rationale or whatever. And so that's always stayed with me. Do I apply that all the time? Probably not as much as what I could or should, but I know that thought, or that just the comment in and around trying to maintain or being curious, is sort of probably a natural part of why the reactions that I do have a curiosity around, particularly stuff that I get sent, and then when I go into things for the first time, trying to have that curious mindset, or asking questions, or asking myself questions, but also sharing my take or my thoughts, just to offer a different perspective on things. And or sometimes I agree with what it is that I'm seeing and hearing on those things that I'm reacting to. So yeah, probably to try to kill two birds with one stone, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've received, trying to maintain that a level of curiosity in and around things, asking questions in a, try to, as much as possible, in a respectful manner, and being prepared to give my reasons or my thoughts or my rationale to look to try to back up or support what it is that I'm saying. And then accepting and understanding that there's still going to be people that are going to go, nah, you're completely wrong, you idiot. And that's okay, because I do that to other people too. So it all swings around and roundabouts, as they say. When politicians are set for life, come on. I'm not sure what that comment was in regards to, but I can probably hazard a guess. Dun, dun. Where are we? Oh, the bloody chat just went because I was taking ages. Nope, read that. I don't think people really understand what those two letters, Victoria Cross or VC, really mean. Jack French got his at Milne Bay, been there and seen his memorial. Oh, that's cool. Buck, man, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, and again, just man, the preservation of that history. People knew how important it was to remember Jack French's actions, whatever those actions are. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure the write-up will be blinking phenomenal in terms of what people witnessed him do in the service, and ultimately said, I don't know if he died in service or died in his during those actions of when he's been posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross, but clearly what he did saved a heck of a lot of lives, and people wanted to honor and respect that by remembering what he did, so make sure that he got the highest award, which is awesome. That's bloody disgraceful. Joe said Aussie government not fronting up. Yeah, pretty terrible, eh? Even just the ADF, like surely somebody. And again, like I was saying, if they think he's been flippant or blinking not very good with his money, him and his family, I would doubt it. But look into that. I think there should still be a measure of support some way, somehow. Maybe he's thinking, million, thanks. The USA Medal of Honor is illegal to be bought, sold, or traded. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Thanks for that, Nick. I had no idea. Didn't know that. Dan, even if he sells, it's still his VC. Yeah, that's true, eh? And he can still get a replica, and he would never be done for stolen valor at any memorial service. So yeah, 100%. And he'll always be Daniel Kieran VC. So yeah, great point. But still, like it's the original, like he should get to keep that. He should never be in a position where he has to sell it without getting some sort of support, There's probably exceptions to that. That's why I said there should at least be a conversation about it amongst the blinking decision makers, ADF and military politicians included. The medal can be sold. The title cannot. It needs a good lawyer. Otherwise, he's stuck with Hammerhead. Hammerhead made it into the chat. Eh? Actually, you know what? I got sent some images because there's a Hammerhead 27 on Instagram, and a couple of people sent this to me. Actually, sent me some screenshots, and they said, "Bro, do you reckon this fella is the Hammerhead?" Now it's a public profile. I don't think it is. I won't bother about sharing them on here, but I've seen the IG page for that person. Got the exact same handle, Hammerhead 27. And then Piers looks like that person has got some military service. I don't know whether it's Australian service or US service or whatever, but got lots of, from what I saw when the person sent the link through and I went and had a look, I was like, oh man, there's lots. That's why I'm not going to share it on here. I was like, man, there's lots of images and stuff of the guy with his family and with his children, that sort of stuff. Looks like a great dad. Like, so again, that's why I don't think I'd be surprised. I don't think it's the Hammerhead that's made his way into this chat. I could be wrong, but anyway, that was surprising and interesting. There's clearly people out there, and I'm grateful for it. Like, it's cool. But there are people, like when Spears Brad was commenting away on Instagram and that sort of stuff. I've been reached out to by a number of police officers here in NZ that have held positions or that hold positions and that sort of thing, which is cool. Grateful for that. But similarly, there are also people who don't necessarily come from a law enforcement background who who have taken the time to do their own investigation, it seems, and try to find out who is this guy. I personally, I couldn't care less. Like, I would love to sit down with him on a video live stream and just have a chat with him, hear what it is that he has to say, how he delivers it, whatever. Hear him out. Obviously, he doesn't want to do that. That's okay. But yeah, I'll sort of past that now. He's still commenting away on some of the videos. I just put a laughing face and then just move on. It's like, good for you, bro. You're still here on the channel and spending time here without me needing to do anything, doing reactions to completely different videos. I think the last one I saw him comment on was on my video around the Mossad Hassan Youssef fella, whose father was a Hamas founder. And he's commented on there and I just laughed again. And then just left it. I was like, holy heck, this fella can't get enough. So yeah, interesting anyway. But shout out to those that took the time to do you should be investigative journalists. Maybe you should start your own YouTube channel and show yourselves doing research and how you go about researching, well, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe people with different handles to what their actual name probably is. And on that Hammerhead27 thing, it's actually got a name, first and last name. Now, I don't know if those two names are the actual person's name, but yeah, just seems odd, like the identical, what do you call it? Handle. So anyway, he should have maybe been, if it is the same person, maybe he should have been like Spears Brad and have a different handle for YouTube. So Spears Brad, let me know, which I screenshotted a while ago. He goes by Steve Azula on YouTube. Whether or not that's what he still goes by these days, maybe he switched to Hammerhead. Dun, dun. What are we? Hammerhead, laughing face, said Charlie. Thanks, Joe Ladime. No, you're welcome. Thank you. Rubber Kiwi. Maybe they could take a personal chef too. Make sure they're getting the correct nutrients and stuff. Actually, I think you must be talking about the selection, Rubber Kiwi. Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, and yeah, definitely no, and not getting all the nutrients and stuff that you need for the selection. And their mummies can meet them at every checkpoint to make sure their sunscreen is still good. Why not a personal astrologer, tarot reader, and life coach, and a full team of Nepalese mountain guides to carry all their gear, including feather beds? Hard case. Oh, it's this Papakura, here I come. Yeah, with all those blinking added benefits, you blinking the pass rate will be through the roof. The diamond, what's this? Vince, ever since. Joe, is there any personal traits that are red flags in the army? Like, for example, being brain dead, introverted, bit weird, depressed. Well, the way that the recruitment stuff is done now is very different to how I went through with the psych testing, aptitude testing, and that sort of thing. I think there have been some allowances made in some of those aptitude tests, to be fair, from what I've heard recently. But brain dead, hopefully that would be discovered in the aptitude testing and then just get the old nah. You'd like to think that. Where you're talking about, are there any personal traits that are red flags? Introverted? No, I don't think an introverted type, because you got all sorts in the military, introverts, extroverts, and whatever the other troverts are in between. So the makeup of the military has a broad cross section of people, in my opinion anyway, and I think that's still the same to this day. Even within a place like the regiment, there's still a cross section of personality types, if that makes sense. Bit weird, yep. I think everybody in the army is a bit weird, so that's probably a requirement rather than a limitation. It's probably a mandatory or a prerequisite. That's the word I'm looking for. That's probably a prerequisite to get into the army rather than a red flag. Depending on the weirdness. Like, trying to think of people now. Because most people that are a bit weird, if they are suspect weird, they're not going to be, I would imagine they're not going to be overt with what type of weird and deranged, mentally demented type, what did you say? Weird behavior that they have. So, yeah, but everybody's a bit weird, I think, in the military. We think we're not, but we are. And then depressed. Now, depression is something like Man, that's a good question. Depression. Because I've known people that have been going through some really, really terrible, miserable, heartbreaking things, that have been massively depressed, that have been on medication for it. You would never have known it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it until they let me know. And it's yeah, it's sad to see, sad to hear, like, because then, you know, they trust you with some of that information. So then and it's good that they do that, and then you get to help in a way, if you're willing to carry some of that burden, carry some of that load. Now, you've got to protect your space. Don't get me wrong. You've got to, you know, protect your own energy and make sure that it doesn't drag you down, because depending on how you process things, you might take, potentially, myself included, might take too much on with good intentions, but then it, you know, like I say, when we're watching stuff on YouTube, like, just be careful about what you choose to constantly consume, because it can and will have an impact on you, me, on everybody. So yeah, depression is hard, just in terms of how does that present and the different ways that it can present. Who would have thought? Like, just thinking of was it Rubber Kiwi said good morning Vietnam, I think it was, at the start of this live. Who would have thought Robin Williams would you know, be in the state that he was? One of the funniest people on the universe, seems to be one of the kindest people around, like, genuinely seemed like a good person. Not that I know the guy, obviously, or knew the guy, but yeah, and then that happens in his situation. It's just, and who knows however many more. There's probably a whole bunch more, not only celebrities, but just everyday people, you know, non-public figures. So depression is a real concern. I don't know what mechanisms the military has to try to identify that, other than doing the checks and balances with the medical checks and stuff to have a look at medical history. Have they got a history of that? You know, have they been taking medication for other things? What types of medication have they been taking? Have those been opioid type medications? Have they become addicted to those at any time? Blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, there's probably people that get paid to investigate and look at all that sort of stuff and do the assessments, would probably have greater answers to that. Actually, that's a good point. I'd love to speak with a recruiter, or what the recruitment, like a recruiter from the military these days for NZ and Australia, get in to hear what they do now, and then to be able to just compare that with how different that is from back in my time, and then, dare I say, even before that. You know, there's just seems to be, with good intentions, there seems to be more layers and layers added to that recruitment process, so that they, I believe, with good intentions, to try to reduce probably the amount of retards that look to go in, or that may look to go in, or the amount of people that are potentially unsuitable to serve in a place like that. So yeah, great question, Vince. Ever since, that's just my take anyway with regards to those. So take it with a pinch of salt, you know. That's how much it has to matter to you. It takes everything. You got to give everything. Oh yeah, that might have been, so, because I'm just catching up on the chat now. That might have been on my ramblings before to Le Diamond Dog. my apologies for taking so long and to get to this comment. So, were there any specific common traits or background you noticed in operations? Any specific common traits you noticed in operators, or background you noticed in operators? I think probably one of the common ones that I noticed was, the right or wrong, was just that people seem to be used to hard work, you know. And what I mean by that, like, used to just being in real crappy, miserable spots. Weather is just miserable, whether it's stinking hot and you're dripping with sweat and everything's just hurting and aching, and we just shut up and you just carry on and get on with the job, because you know that the job is bigger than you. This is on operations out in the desert in Iraq, as an example, or in the mountains in the blinking Lantana in the jungle in East Timor. Miserable blinking weather and terrain, probably more so the terrain in Timor, from that perspective, from a patrolling perspective, versus out in the desert when we're in the vehicles. But still harsh environments, especially when the blinking dust storms and stuff come in. And then the go time, let's say the go time, when it's time to go and start clearing buildings and that sort of stuff. And the vast majority of those buildings, when we went to go and clear, didn't have enemy combatants and stuff in there. So but for that, yeah, the work ethic and just being able to put up with just miserable circumstances. And the other part was just the willingness to be at the front. So when I talk about that from the perspective of, at least in Iraq anyway, in the operators, not recklessly try to put themselves in, not for any sort of glory or anything like that, but because you cared about your mates. And so one of the most treasured things that I have personally is a letter of reference from a particular person from my squadron. JW are his initials, MG on the end, Medal of Gallantry winner. He wrote a letter of reference for me when I got out and described a number of things in there, which for me, I won't worry about going through them on here, but which for me have always, I was like, oh, wow, it's just really humbling to read that. So I still have it to this day, the original. I had used it. I've never used it for blinking probably more than, dare I say, 15 years now, probably 20 years actually. I've never used it as a reference because it's from so long ago, but it's always stuck with me, like just the words and stuff that he put in there. So when I'm talking about guys going to the front, there are plenty of opportunities and times whereby I guess the youth that I had as well, and the energy and somewhat, I suppose, mobility that I had to be able to move around, we would throw ourselves into the forefront of some of those clearances and stuff that needed to take place, not knowing what was on the other side. And the fact that, and I can see other guys too who did the same thing. And it was smooth. It wasn't like trying to push anybody out of the road or anything like that. It's proper CQB done smoothly, but you could see guys moving in a way to position themselves to be the first one through the door, or the first one through the window. I remember jumping through one of the windows first, and I was thinking to myself, I am going to be massively exposed here. But I don't care, because it needed both hands to get up over that ledge and get in. So it's not like I could get up and over with a weapon still in my hand and then clear it. I needed to get into the building. And so, yeah, so those sorts of things, and seeing those guys and having the memories of those guys are things that stand out. So being able to put up with and just work hard and keep the mouth quiet and just keep going, an unselfish desire in the operators that I worked with, a willingness to just, if this is it, if this is the last door that I go through, then so be it. And so seeing those guys do that and working and moving with guys like that in a way that for me, just had nothing but absolute confidence and faith and trust in the guys that I was with. So those two things stand out. Obviously, the other things, like there's some guys I've shared before in other videos that could have literally been not a lot, but there's a handful of guys that I can think of that could quite easily have taken up a career in stand-up comedy. So the people talk about the gallows humor or dark humor or whatever. Yeah, maybe it is, but there's some guys there that were just very quick off the mark, had a very good sense of humor, which wasn't necessarily gallows or dark humor, just funny guys, not only in their facial expressions, but also just in terms of how they conducted themselves, how they normally conducted themselves. Excuse me, without them realizing, we're just blank and hard case. Like you could just literally sit back, be looking out at something else and look over and look at them and then just start laughing, because whether they knew it or not, how they walked, how they talked, the look on their face at that time just put a smile on people's faces. And those are some really good memories. So the sense of humor is important too. Yeah, what else is there? Those three: work ethic, the desire to put themselves, like be the first one through whatever that door or at the head of that patrol, and could have a laugh, but have a laugh at not only others, but have a laugh at themselves, So yeah, probably those three things really stand out to me about the guys that I've worked with. In terms of backgrounds, there were a number of guys, I think in NZ, a number of guys had a lot of hunting and farming type background. So again, that probably goes to my comment about just the hard work ethic and just being used to being in, up early, miserable, sort of hard days work. Not always miserable, but you know what I mean? Hard days work, till late at night, and then just short amount of time, get cleaned up, have a feed, go to bed, get up and do it again and again and again and again and again. So they're probably built into that. I think Australia was probably similar too in many respects. A lot of guys there, even though there's a lot of diversity, but guys there that had come from very much, I guess, what's it called? Not blue collar. Is it blue collar? Well, like labouring type backgrounds. Obviously, you get a handful of people that come from probably more well-to-do type families, especially when you got guys in the regiment there that are pilots, Black Hawk pilots, fighter jet pilots. Is like, they're probably. Oh, mind you, I'm being what's the word when you're blanking? Not categorizing. You know the word I'm thinking about anyway. Making not categorizing. What's the bloody word? Anyway, somebody will put it in the comments. Probably Charlie29. When you're thinking a whole group of people, painting them with the same brush. Oh, bloody, I can't think of the word. But anyway, maybe they just worked up from that position. But there were some guys that came from, dare I say, maybe more well-off families. But the vast majority of people came from working class. That's probably the word I'm looking for. Working class families within the organization or within the unit anyway. So yeah, don't know if I answered your question, Sig, but that's the best I've got. I've heard it said that the majority were children of hardship. There I go again, Lincoln. Those that have been here for any period of time or followed my channel long enough will know that, yep, I read parts of your things and then I just start hooking in with my responses. And you've just, I've heard it said that the majority were children of hardship, adversity. Yeah. So that would be my take. And that probably, like I said, the farming type backgrounds, people, the hunters, that sort of stuff, those sort of backgrounds, I'd heard of that. And guys would often speak about that in some of their upbringing and the challenges that they had and the things that they didn't have and how they found the ability to just be at peace with very simple and, dare I say, limited resources, and just get on with it. So sorry, Sig, for not reading your whole comment first. I'm going to read the whole thing this time. Have you ever reacted to soft selection scenes from fiction, i.e. movies or TV? I think there are good opportunities for comedy in reacting to them. I haven't done that. Is that from movies? So selection scenes from fiction, i.e. you did say from movies or TV. I haven't done that. I don't think I have anyway. Joe Reed, bruh. It's been ever since. Yes, good comment. I need to read all the comment in full first, probably from now on. Nope. Popkura Joe Reed. Stay tuned, something good coming. It's a big man game, nothing but respect. Le Diamond Dog. Hey, appreciate your time and stuff and your comments and stuff here and your questions. Barbecue original SAS stole the entire 2 NZEF camp while they were on maneuvers in North Africa, World War II. Really? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Really. Thank you, Joe, for the reply. You're welcome. Buckaroo, Daniel was working in the mines after he got out. Maybe a medical emergency for a family member, I'm thinking. Oh, true. Okay. Interesting. That's Huggo you're talking about, eh? Mid-traverts. The traverts between extroverts and introverts. Yes, I like that. Mid-traverts. That's probably who are the mid-traverts. There you go. I'm running with it. I like it, Sig. If you see someone licking their rifle, walk away slow. The Full Metal Jacket scenes, they might start to come to mind for people. Dan's retracted message, Sig. The people I knew in the NZDF that experienced things like depression were treated awfully by their chain of command. I hope things have improved since my day. Oh, wow. Okay. I would like to think that, yeah, really, really tragic and sad for anybody suffering depression. Not that I think I have. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we all have it to varying degrees or levels at some stage of our lives. As I think about some of the, things that got me down, maybe that is some type of depression and stuff that's happened to me. Maybe it's happened to all of us, but, some people experience things differently and or have much more harder reactions to those things. So yeah, we probably all have experienced depression in some way, shape, or form. But that's sad if that's what you witness there, Sig, in terms of treatment of those. There definitely needs to be some support, and dare I say, professional support. I'm not a big fan of the medication, although some of my friends that I know of that did share that they said that the medication actually helped them. So, I don't know. At the same time, I've heard some people say that they became dependent on medication for their depression. So that's probably where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not a big fan of medications in general. People say, "Oh, why is that? Is that because you don't think it's good to be putting, things in your body that aren't necessarily good for you?" And I think along the lines, I think I initially just said, "Yeah, I don't think like steroids or anything like that. Like, why bother?" And then they're like, "Well, why do you eat so much junk food then?" So I just walked straight into that one. They're like, "Why do you eat so many blinking lollies and chocolate and ice cream?" And that's I've toned down the fizzy drinks like massive amount for years now. But it's no secret that I like a sweet or two. Charlie 29 will attest to that with the raspberry cream buns that he's brought me a couple of times, and all those that helped out on the reckoning and the blinking amount of junk food I had in there as snacks for us. I did try to even things out by getting a whole bunch of fruits and stuff as well for us as the staff and that sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, where are we? Someone licking their rifle walkway slowly. Dan retracted the people I knew. Oh, sorry, I read that. Read that as well. That's for Rubber Kiwi. I can leave that. How likely is someone in the unit to recognize an issue in themselves and tell the rest of the section? More than likely not. And I think DJ Shipley gives a really good ex-dev guru guy, obviously very well known on the social media space. I think he gives a good and honest description of that. But yeah, if I was to read that question for the first time, there's no way I personally would say anything to anyone if I was struggling. I think I spoke about that in my in an interview. It might have been with my brother-in-law, where my wife has said to me, I should go get some counseling. I don't think it was for depression. I think it was just for some of my inability to communicate with her when I'd be pissed off about something. I've never been the sort of person to, or not with my wife or anything like that, to go and become violent or anything like that. But I will withdraw and not talk, not talk to her. And I think that probably wound her up more than if I was to yell and scream or anything like that. We've definitely had some verbal matches. I wouldn't say yelling and screaming. I have raised my voice a few times, as she has, and then I've just gone back to, yeah, I'm not talking to you. So, yeah, so those where were the aspects in there, and someone to tell you, yeah, probably not. And then with that, I think I shared in that interview with my brother-in-law, I was like, bro, those people have got enough to worry about, and it's probably a defensive mechanism for me going, I don't know them. What do I want to tell them about? Like, I'm not going to go and talk about my life or the challenges that I'm having with a complete stranger. I don't care how qualified they are or how many years they spent at university or what degrees they have. Like, yeah, you don't know me and I don't know you, and I'm not going to come and talk to you. So I would never have, even though I think my wife probably would have wanted me to, a few years ago. But I was like, yeah, nah, I'm not wired that way. I'm just going to bottle it all up. I'm going to bottle it up, keep it inside, and work through it myself. And I'd say that's how I still am to this day. Bottle things up if there's things going on that I'm not happy about. I think, and that's probably not a good thing. So all you counselors in the chat can go and give me some counsel if you feel like it. But I've always been of the mindset that things will come good. Things will get better. I just need to, I'm in a blinking rat SHIT place right now. And probably by and large, if not most of it, then probably all of it, or if not all of it, then probably most of it, I've done to myself. So I need to blink and work my way through it. Could I get through it sooner if I blink and opened up to people or professionals and go through that process? Maybe. But again, I was too stubborn and pig-headed, like a lot of things, and gone, nah, I'm not going to speak to you about any of what's happening with me. And so yeah, and then as things have gone for me, I've always found that the sun does shine again. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. Things have been miserable and lonely and, dare I say, in dark places and that sort of thing, in regards to challenges that we all have at different times, and or that I've experienced at different times. But no sooner when those things happen and they feel like they can happen for a long time, then all of a sudden, blank and heck, things start to change, things start to shift, things start to become easier, better, clearer, and you become more capable, confident, resilient, dare I say, whatever the words are that people want to use. Stereotyping, that's the word. That's the word I was thinking of before when I was saying, I didn't want to label people. Stereotyping. Sorry, that's how my brain works. Well, I don't know if it's working, but sometimes if I'm talking about something, we've all done it, talking about, so you forget the word or whatever it is that you're going to talk about, then you start talking about something else, and then boom, blanking, the Rolodex in the background starts going, and then ding, and there it is, stereotyping. Didn't want to stereotype. And now I can't remember what I wanted to use that word for, stereotyping, whoever it was I was talking about. Oh, stereotyping the pilots. That's right. See, the dots are starting to come back and connect. Like, what's that? Finding Nemo, Dory or Finding Nemo. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, the self-help stuff. So I've always been an advocate for myself in terms of, I need to sort my blinking SHIT out. and then crack on. Like, just continue doing what I'm doing. So the things that help me with that is training. Get up, train. Get up, do morning routine and all that sort of stuff, and then train. Then get yourself cleaned up, or myself cleaned up. Get into what I've got planned for the day, which I typically would have laid out the night before, which is what I do with my stuff on content creation and what I was doing when I was working full time, etc., etc. Planning that sort of stuff the night before, so I know what my day looks like the next day, and then attack those things. Like, attack those things that I've got set out that I know I want to do and need to do. Make sure that they're done as well as I can. Once that's done, then get some more training in, and then again plan out what I've got for the next day. So those things, I guess that rhythm, that routine, has served me well. Is it the be all and end all? Heck no. But it's something that I've always drawn on, and I'll continue to lean on to help me with regards to what it is that I do. Are there better ways? More than likely. But this is what I've found works for me, has worked for me. Again, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll see a professional, a professional counselor or psychiatrist or psychologist, and go through things that way and unpack some stuff. Who knows? Maybe one day. Anyway, where am I? So I did that. Yeah, so that's my answer to that one, Rubber Kiwi. They probably wouldn't. I'd probably say, dare I say to this day, stereotyping, brother. Oh, there we go. At GSEM. Oh, Miyagi. Bro, you got him first. Thank you. Rubber Kiwi stereotyping. Jason's got to place at the chat if you want the word, maybe set up, change the Dirty Dozen in selection. What was the age of the oldest active SAS soldier you've come across, and what things did they do to maintain their form and fitness? Probably the oldest. So thank you for the stereotyping. I got there in the end. Honestly, I didn't see the chat as I was going through, but yeah, stereotyping popped into my head. But I see people already gave me the word, as I knew I could rely on the chat. Miyagi, you look like somebody new. I haven't seen you on the chat before, but thank you for stopping by, and helping me out, throwing me a lifeline. What was the question again? What was the age of the oldest active SAS soldier you've come across, and what things did they do to maintain their form and fitness? Probably, man, the person that comes to mind, and I don't know how old he was, right? So what I do know is he was a Vietnam veteran, still actively serving in the Australian SAS Regiment, and he was the RSM. So the dude, the regimental sergeant major for the regiment, still looked fit, healthy, Not big and muscular, just lean, just normal sized person. Still out there doing PT and all that sort of stuff. Now he's the RSM, so he's not necessarily on the front line, but he's still active. To your comment, still active within the regiment. Oldest active SAS soldier, and I don't know how old he was at that time, but he, put it this way, he looked very weathered. His face, the grey hair, the hardness in his face. He was the guy. Well, the nickname for him was Toff, and that's an abbreviation of his name. So those from the Australian Regiment and Buckaroony will know exactly who I'm talking about. He was the guy who had a set of eyes that when he looked at you, you didn't want him to be looking at you. because he was like a scary looking dude, like when he was looking at you, not big and ominous or anything like that, but he just had a look about him when he looked at you. You know, he's been through and seen some SHIT, bro. His rack, he had to wear miniatures, like the miniature medals, because he had so many for his operations, deployments, dare I say, leadership awards, etc., etc. I don't think there was I don't think there's a VC on there, but he wore miniatures, like the little racks, because he had so many of them. His miniatures still would have been like way more than that, and I remember him having like 2 rows on the same left side, so he wasn't wearing a rack of medals. Yeah, Toff wrote a good book as well. Okay, cool. So, well, maybe I can share his name then if he's written a book. What's the name of the book, Buck? I haven't seen that. I'd have to get that. If you tell me the name of his book, then I'll drop his name here. But he's well known, highly regarded. I don't know how old he would have been. I want to say, geez, I reckon he may have been in his 60s by that stage. I could be wrong. It might have been late 50s. And it may have just been the weathering on his face. He was a major when I was there. Tough man, yeah. I heard the stories, but and by the time I got there and seen him as the RSM, I was like, yeah, this guy looks way older than me. Decades, like literally decades older than me. Like I said, I didn't want him looking at me. I seen a 3-hour interview with him. Oh, wow. Okay. I think yesterday on the 60th anniversary for Long Tent. Oh, wow. Geez, I'd love to see that. If you can send me the link to that, bro, I'd love to do a reaction to that 3-hour interview with him. But it was recorded years ago. Could be him. It may be him. I'd still do a reaction to it if it's Toff. Hard man. Very highly regarded. So yeah, he was either late 50s or early 60s, so that he would probably be one of the oldest. There you go. I think it was called Behind Enemy Lines. Right. Yeah, Terry O'Farrell on Google. Thank you for that, Buck. I'll have a look at that, and I'll look to buy that book. But yeah, Toff, Terry O'Farrell, hard man. Definitely been involved and seen a heck of a lot of stuff. Highly regarded, dare I say, feared by people. And he loved his rugby. I remember that this was one of the few times that I ever, maybe dare I say the first time, where I wasn't scared to look at him and where I actually saw him smile. He smiled and laughed, and he actually came up to me and shook my hand. So in the SF Rugby Cup in 2003, 2003, we were defending our try line for ages. The 2-2 boys, their forwards they had it all over our forward pack. I was in the backs, in the centres, and there's a bloody big prop from 2-2. I just ended up being closer in on the defensive side of things when 2-2 were making a push towards our line. Bloody hell, there's a prop, had the ball, started running towards the line, and I was like, well, I'm either going to be run over and flattened, or I'm hitting this guy and I'm taking him down. So I ran straight forward. Guy ran straight at me, and I managed to get underneath him, got a good hit on, drove him forward, and then went towards the sideline. So we were already fairly close to the sideline, and managed to. So then, because he went out with the ball, we got the throw in. It was probably the only good play I did of the whole game. And then we got the throw in, we got the ball, and then we made a break and we started heading down to the other end. That was a hard game. But anyway, at the end of that game, because Toff was there, and as well as a whole bunch of other people, he come up specifically to me, shook my. He had a big smile on his face. Shook my hand. And that was a great tackle, mate. And that's my last stint. One of my, well, probably the only memory that I have of Toff where he smiled, where I ever saw him smile. So he probably smiled with his friends and other people and the other senior operators. But for me, as a young fella, seeing that. And him walking towards me with a smile on my face, I was thinking he must be looking at somebody else. And I think it must have been nearing the end of that game too. So we managed to get the line out. The Piggies got the ball in. Our forwards won that ball. It did come out down the back line for a bit. I think I shifted that ball on, and one of the other boys made the break, and so went down, and then they gave it a bit of a boot down the other end of the field. So we were then playing down that field because there wasn't that much long to go. But yeah, far out. That just pops into my head now. The only time where I was didn't feel nervous or scared to look at Toff. So yeah, shout out to that fella. I don't actually know if he's still. Hopefully, he's still alive. He'd definitely be the sort of person in Vietnam Veterans Day, which I should have acknowledged yesterday too in the live, for him to be speaking. But yeah, scary guy, scary dude. Hard man from what I understand, and obviously yeah, Buck has shared some of that as well. What's this? Perfect timing on that very next comment. Psychedelics in Mexico will fix it or less detrimental than medication. Righto. I've heard about the psychedelic stuff. I don't really know much about that. I think DJ Shipley's spoken about some of that stuff as well. Yeah, no, I never met Woodamoo from the Air Force. That's a crack up. That's a good one. GSC Miyagi. Yeah, no, I never met a Woodamoo from the Air Force. There may be some now. So shout out to any Woodamoos or Moos or Woos, whatever nickname or acronym they want to go by for short in the Air Force, but that's hard case. What's an Air Force? I, for one, certainly don't know. Buck, I knew a radio operator in SIGs that went on and got his Sandy Beret. Oh, yeah, I knew a radio operator in SIGs that went on and got a Sandy Beret. After that, became an officer and then a Black Hawk pilot. Incredible career. Cossie, his nickname. Oh, right. Wow, that's cool. That Beret qualified operators that I knew was Millsy. You would have known Mills. Buck, dark haired. He was at one squadron attached by the time I got there. He spent most of his time with B Troop as the chook for them. But Millsy was a good guy. I have lost touch with him. Got to do a few courses with him. Yeah, and there was I won't mention. Well, Millsy, that's a surname anyway. Won't mention his first name, but you probably know him, Buck. I didn't know the fella Cossie. 3 S's in the name. Kossie, or is that a typo? Rubber Kiwi. No one born here after 99 does. I'm way older than that. And I don't either. Toff wrote a good book. Yeah, so Behind Enemy Lines, Thank you for that. I've seen a 3-hour interview. Oh, sorry, I've read those ones. Etta. What the hell's going on here? Yep, Toff. Thanks, Buck. Good coffee. Did you work with CAG at all, bro? Nah, never had the privilege to do any jobs with CAG. There were some Americans that came over to the regiment at the time, but they were like on an exchange, long look stuff. No actual operations. And when we went to Iraq, no to that either. Had I still been in there, yeah, more than likely the boys did lots of jobs with US military forces, and some of those were the CAG guys. So yeah, they've got some good not intel, good comments, good memories about their joint venture, joint operations tasks and stuff. Sure, the opening page was him doing a halo jump at night. I was scared just reading it. Holy heck, man. We beat 2-2 SAS in Hereford in 99, 25-20, hard game. Wow, geez. 99, again, the year of the World Cup where Australia won the World Cup that year. Hey, that's right, Or am I wrong? 91 and 99? The World Cup years Australia won, I think. Might be wrong. Sorry if I got that wrong. But yeah, no doubt it was a hard game. It was a bloody hard game at home in Perth too. We only just won that too, and it might have been a similar scoreline. Any survivors? I'll try find the link for you lads. It's a ripper. Yeah, thanks for that, Ale Stew. Yes, I knew Millsy. Yeah. Good guy. Funny fella. I didn't have a lot to do with him, but yeah, the interactions that I did have to do with him, yeah, funny guy. We're on the motorbike course together too, and Dinger Bell was one of the instructors, and then a few of the other 3 squadron boys, Brits or Britnell and that, we're running them, the badged guys there. And then we had the police, WA police and stuff on there. And again, just one of those things that I never... So I did all the driving with the trucks and stuff, did motorbikes and all that sort of thing. And we got our little books with our licenses, which we could then change over to get our licenses on Civvy Street. And I just never did it. Like, I've never worried about it. Don't really care. Like, I don't have a motorbike. I've never been a car person, like not heavily into cars or anything like that, or guns or motorbikes. People be like, what the hell did you go into the SAS for? I went in for the job and that work, not to then have to come home and then, feel like I have to have a motorbike or have to have this gun or that gun or whatever. Like, got to use that stuff enough when I was at work, and so grateful for that. Could I have been better doing it and getting into the civvy pistol shooting stuff and other things? Probably, like Weeksy. Wayne Weeks, shout out to that fella. He did a lot of time, and his pistol shooting was blinking awesome. So it was great having him as an instructor to help us. So yeah, but anyway, each to their own. Talk about eyes. I was on a RAF flight, WA New South Wales, 8 double lunches. Thinking just over catered. We stopped in South Australia when 6 regiment blokes boarded. Where's our lunches? They asked. I seen the eyes. Yeah, when you're talking about top size, and then those guys there that must have been hungry lads when they jumped on board. I could imagine. Yes, 3 Wallaby players brought Bill over to East Timor. Wow. I have a photo of a Kiwi battalion doing the haka to the Wallaby players. Oh man, that's cool. Buck, man, you've got some great stuff. I love your setup, Buck, and your where's the bloody thing? Actually, let me just share the screen. Huggo, where's that bloody Huggo thing that I had on here? Oh, I've got to bring it up. There it is there. It's on this screen. That's why. I'll move it up to this screen. So people that don't know might be going, what's he talking about? Medal for Gallantry recipient, Justin Huggett, MG. There's Buckaroonie, people. That's Buck there on the left. He's got awesome stuff. Like, that's just, I don't know which part of his house that room is in, but his garage is even better. Like, I've seen the garage with all the stuff, other flags and stuff that you've got in there, all the gear, all the camping gear, Buck's camping videos. Get over and check that fella out, man. Give him a like and a subscribe if you haven't already to this fella. Hit the old notification and subscribe to his channel. But definitely, yeah, I never had the opportunity to work directly with Buck, but obviously Buckaroonie has been a kind supporter of my channel for a while now, and it's nice, thanks for stopping by on my lives when you can, Buck. I don't think I've joined any of your lives at all, so my apologies for that, but this interview is pretty cool. So I had been watching this interview that you've had with your mate here. Huggo, it seems like is his nickname. I never knew Justin either, but man, he's got some cool stories. I heard the part about, the work that he put into to get over to Afghanistan with the UK, part of that long look stuff that he went on to, and the, dare I say, the improvised, adapting, and overcoming way that he went about getting documentation signed so that he could deploy and do what he did. But I definitely haven't gotten through all of this yet, so it's about 3 hours long. But those that don't know Buckaroonie, now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. Buck, hope you don't mind, mate. But yeah, legend, man. Thanks for your service. Thanks for your kind support of my channel and the work that you're doing. I did get your message as well, your email about if I wanted to jump on a live interview with you, etc. Very kind. Appreciate the offer, my friend. I'll think about it. I've spoken before. Other people have said, oh, jump on these other interviews, and some other kind people like the Paratrooper podcast have reached out, etc. But yeah, I've probably repeated myself enough times, and I've done some reflection videos on my channel that have probably yapped on long enough about some of my story. If anything, I'd probably be keen to have a chat with you about yours, because I think maybe if I go back through your channel and have a look at your other videos, I might get a bit more of an idea. of some of your background and story. But yeah, your camping videos and being out and about. And thank you for the setups. You sent me some information as well, because I asked him, hey, what cameras are you using and what sort of setup? So Buck was kind enough and gracious enough and sent me through some info too. So this is long overdue, man. But check out Mr. Buckaroony. Hang on, what if I do that? There you go. Here's his channel, peeps. Go on and have a look. And check out his stuff there on his channel. 450 odd videos. Look at that. 450. It always I didn't notice that until now. It always interests me when I have a look at stuff like this and see 450 videos, work with the subscribers and all that sort of thing. But the content is great. And then I look at mine as like over 1,000 videos. And like I said, not all of them, or maybe the vast majority of them, probably not that great, to be fair. But I'd appreciate anybody who may not have known. If you do follow me, get on over and check out Mr. Buckaroony and give him a like and a subscribe. And that's my take on that. Buck, again, thank you for stopping by here, man, and for the support that you give. I can stop sharing that. Where are we? Dun, dun, dun. Lunches, Buckaroony S3 Wallaby. You're welcome, bro. All good. That army photo in the background was at the regiment with an 870 Remington. Oh, wow. Far out. Hard case. Jeez. Where are we? I'd need to go back. Yeah, I got to hit back to probably get to that page. Pause that. You might have heard that audio coming through. I had that playing a little bit faster before. What was that on 2x speed? But anyway, that's awesome. Cheers for that, Buck. Rubber Kiwi, subscribe, Buck. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks, Rubber Kiwi. Anybody else, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. If you went over and liked and subbed to old Buckaroony's channel. Subbed, you guys should chat on lives, even if only for part of. Yeah, true. Hey, Buck, maybe we just talk about our YouTube journeys. I got a bunch of questions to ask you about. I seen your jump, Buck, like I said, and the stuff that you're doing. Yeah, maybe we could do that. Do a live where we talk about just sort of what we're doing now, maybe, as opposed to the other stuff in the military. Mind you, I would probably still default to asking you some of the questions and stuff that you could talk about in the military and that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe there's a collab there. I'll email you later. Dun, dun. Thanks, Robert. Mainly a camping channel. There we go. Mainly a camping channel. What is the biggest act of bravery that you have witnessed or heard of and is verified in the SAS circle that not many people know about? Interesting question. Biggest act of bravery that you have witnessed or heard of? Definitely not witnessed. Definitely not witnessed from my time. Heard of is obviously the VC lads in Australia and Willie Upiata. So obviously having heard of those and having heard from guys that were on the ground, and particularly in Willie Upiata's one, those guys that were there, and at least one or two of the guys that got awarded MGs as part of that. So obviously they don't get their faces shown, but just hearing them give a first-hand account of the stuff that happened there was pretty mind-blowing to me. So the I guess their documentary on the reluctant hero in Willie's case doesn't really do it justice. I would love to see them do something similar, or like, why not make a movie about that? Like not a bloody inflated Hollywood rubbish one, like just like that ISR footage of, rest in peace, Master Sergeant John Chapman, Medal of Honor winner. Not that bloody twat Scumbinski, that stolen valor Scumbinski is what I should call him. But something like that is just raw, very simple, basic. I'd love to see something like that. I know I've gone off topic, but that's because, like, witnessed nothing. I didn't witness anything personally that was just super brave and outstanding and that sort of thing. And then as far as heard of and confirmed would be those VCs from the boys. There probably is other stuff. Probably one of the things, what's his name? Buck. We were talking about it before. He got an MG, the chook that was there. Bloody what's his name again? I'm just having a look down there. Because Buck gave me the name. Like Jock is the guy's name from the Chooks. I'd heard about that. I'd heard about what Jock did as a Chook with attached to the regiment in Afghanistan, and his actions being awarded the Medal of Gallantry. So that's probably one that I've heard of. That's confirmed, verified. He was, the guys spoke so highly of that. This is I'm pretty sure he was a non-beret qualified. I want to say Buck can let me know. Yeah, Jock Wallace. I think he was a non-beret qualified Chook Buckaroo, if that's right. And Blinken, all class, apparently, from what I heard over the radio, the comms, cool, calm, collected, in the face of Blinken, what sounded like certain death from what I was listening to and from what I'd heard from some of the other lads that were there on the ground that spoke highly of Jock's actions and his ability to, I guess, call in the support. Black Hat Chook. Yeah, there you go. So non-beret qualified. The regiment does and did take people that weren't beret qualified out on jobs, especially with, skill sets like what Jock Wallace has or had. I'm not sure if he's still serving now. For their skill, for their ability to be able to do that. Still a fairly daunting task for anybody to go on, but also I like to think somewhat comforting to a degree, being in a patrol of operators that have got your back. But yeah, he gave him a massive account of himself with regards to the way he conducted himself. So that's probably the other one. Like I said, there probably would be a lot more if I sat around and really thunked about it. But off the top of my head, those ones sort of come to mind right off the bat. Cheers, Joe. Not read that. Oh, bloody hell. This chat just pushed me all the way back up again. I'm privileged to support you guys in anything you do. Thanks for that, Rubber Kiwi. Appreciate it. Simon MCC, have you ever read any of the Kiwi Boys books, Barry's or Jamie's? No, I haven't even got Jamie's book yet. So there's a bunch of books I need to get. I need to get Andy White's book. I need to get Terry O'Farrell's book, which I didn't know he had a book out till Buck just let me know. Need to get Jamie's book. Oh, if I didn't already say Jamie's. Who else did you say there? Barry. You talking about Barry Rice? I'm assuming that's who you mean, Barry Rice. I don't know what his book is called, but yeah, bro, there's heaps of books that I need to get. Not Bravo 20 though. I'm not getting that. I might get possibly. I might get Chris Ryan's The One That Got Away. But yeah, like then it'll just be like there's other books where I've read parts of them. And then they just sit on the shelf and then they just sit there as decoration or something for the background, so it's just not staring at a brown wall. Absolutely, mate. YouTube stuff would be great. Yeah, cool. All right, Buck, I'll send you an email, man. And I think that might be nice. Well, it'd be nice for me connect with you and have a bit of a chat and then see some of the stuff. It'd be good to do an in-person collab with you one day. So if I ever get over to Queensland again, I'll definitely hit you up beforehand. That's not classified and will get you in services correctional. Willie, what a great man. His meeting with the Queen was incredible. What a humble man. Yeah. Yep. Him and I think some of the footage that I've seen him with the Queen and RS there as well at the same time, and or at least on one of the other times. But aren't you Jock Wallace? The book called 18 Hours. There we go. Okay, 18 Hours. So yeah, there's another book that I need to get. Jock Wallace's book, 18 Hours. If that's who you're talking about, I assume that's who you're talking about, Buck. Jock. Dun, dun, dun. He went out with Wotu Clint P. Oh, wow. Okay. With the US 10th Mountain Division. Aiken. How good. Hey, was wondering, I got given a formal battalion uniform. I think from World War II, it needs a little repair work, but it's not mine. I didn't earn it. What do I do with it? Is there a place to go for repairs? Oh, interesting. Wow. How did you get that, Poeticus? That's pretty. I got given a formal battalion. Well, somebody obviously wanted you to have it. That's pretty cool. Is there a place to go for repairs? I'd probably, I don't know of any off the top of my head. I'd probably do a search online and try to find someone. Was this Harry McCleary from Donaldson's Dairy? Yep, Baz. We Were Blackwater. Yeah. We Were Blackwater was his book. Okay, is that the name of the book? We Were Blackwater. All right. There's another guy too. He was in Battalion. Bloody hell. I think it goes by Johnny Slash was his nickname. I've met him a few times. Like Gary. I want to say Gary is his name. He runs the blinking thing in Taupō. It's like a museum thing. He's got his own this bloody whole bunch of army memorabilia. It runs like a little museum. Onward Bar, I think it's called. I think it's called the Onward Bar. Those that know would know. Apologies if I got that wrong, Gary. But yeah, I've never been to it. I've heard about it though. So that's another person. I think he's got a book out as well. Like, there's plenty of books out there. But again, those that know me and or have followed me for a while will know that I'm not definitely not a big reader. People have said, bro, for somebody that doesn't do a lot of reading, as you say, you spend a lot of time reading the comments. Which is true. Well, I'm on the live stream, so if people are going to take time to join the live and put in their comments, then I want to try to read the comments. And then the comments in the videos, well, that's apart from the India video that I did, I'd never had so many, like it was just like a handful of comments on my videos. You only need to go and have a look and there's just like a handful of comments, which is great. It's pretty easy for me to do. And that gives me something to do and read in between when I'm waiting for videos to upload to or download, etc. A woman in New Brighton felt that I deserved it. Bizarre interaction. Oh, wow. Yeah. Strange. Interesting. Yeah, but I'd say probably have a look online, see who may be able to do some of the repairs and stuff that you mentioned. And then go from there. Maybe, I don't know, donate it to a military museum or something like that, or sell it. I don't know, I'm not sure. But interesting, that interaction. Oh, wow. Well, it's blinking like 10:15 in the evening here, nearly 3 hours. There's heaps of stuff. Hang on, let me just do this. Here's the and this isn't even part of it. I'm not going to carry on with these because there's blinking too many. This was when I discovered bookmarking. So I bookmarked and I came across all of these things. I got sent a bunch of these things as well. And so there's I thought I'd bookmark more than that, but clearly there's a bit of stuff to go through, or that I was planning on going through, and I think I only got through those two. So next on another live, maybe I'll do another live tomorrow. Who knows? People probably get a bit ho-ha with me doing the lives, actually, to be fair. But we'll see how I go. I am well ahead in terms of content and video pre-recording stuff, so maybe lives is a nice way to be able to get through some of the stuff that people take the time to send through. Waiuru Army Museum will take it. There you go. Sweet, cheers, man. Yeah, it's proper Ralph Lauren. There you go. Proper Ralph Lauren material. I don't know if people have got any other questions or if I've even adequately answered the questions that have come through. Thank you very much for taking the time and asking me the questions that you have. Yeah, sorry I don't have any incredible war stories in and around Bravest, things that I might have witnessed. Unfortunately for me, didn't witness any firsthand of things that, stand out from like an MG perspective or anything like that, or definitely not from a VC perspective. Guys that I was lucky enough to serve and work with were definitely brave in my eyes. But when you're talking, I think I understand what you mean when you're talking bravery and courage and acts of valor and that sort of thing. Wasn't there to personally witness that or to see that stuff firsthand. So what's this? All good, mate. Sometimes the bravest thing is to just carry on doing the simple things well. There you go. Look at that. That's great advice, I think, in general for anyone. So cheers for the that comment. But yeah, man, thank yous for tuning in, peeps. What have I got on here? 19 people. Wow. Commander Nov, just on what you were saying earlier, if you ever want to talk to a professional, let me know. No, a half all right doctor, pretty accessible too. Watch the substitute vid. Oh yeah. Sorry, let's do that. Let's bring up this substitute vid that I got sent. And I got asked to do a reaction to this one. A blind reaction. Well, most of my stuff is blind reactions anyway, but what did the comments say? Where is it? That's not it. That's not it. Where the heck is it? That just gives you an idea of how many things have been sent. Here it is. Oh, did you update the comment that you sent earlier? It's got, hey Joe, I don't like to ask for much, but since I paid the super low and great value $1.90 minimum membership pass, I'd like you to react to this video. I've sent to Joe Horta on Instagram. Will you like to receive requests and answer viewers' questions? I don't know the email, which is insert email address here. It's awesome to be able to communicate with a great New Zealander, lowercase g. Don't get a big head, bro. Like and subscribe, everyone. So anyway, here's the, what's this one? Ranger veteran annihilates a young punk. The substitute. Failure is not an option. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up. We'll react to that. I'm sure you said something else to that. Oh, no, yeah, you said, you have to, bro. I paid my $1.90. I demand your honest first-time reaction to this tonight. It's clean, you've got there. And so I did reply with laughing faces and said, I'll have to not look at this until it's time. Until it's time then. So here we go. Let's bring this. Let's click on that link. I'll hit pause once it opens and then share screen. Just got to get for the little skip to show up so I can skip past the ad. How long is this video? Can't remember. Pause. 3 minutes long. Okay, let's just rewind that back because it jumped straight into it. The reaction. I think this should be everybody's reaction to this. The substitute. Ranger veteran annihilates a young punk. The substitute. Failure is not an option. Clip. 3 minutes, 16 seconds. All right, let's share this. Let's watch me turn it into a 3-hour long reaction. Oops, I almost clicked end stream there, peeps. My apologies. Lucky. Yeah, and yeah, don't be surprised if I get cut off. Maybe I should not mention said dairy because last time I mentioned the dairy, I got cut off again from my hometown. So a person sent me a comment. I must have mentioned that dairy too many times, and so we got shut down. So if we get cut off, it's because we got cut off, not because I ended the stream. Let's go play.
Watch it, Luther. I'm going to take away your drool. Go. Move.
It's got the facial expressions, the angry face, and the finger resting nicely on the trigger.
You know what I think, Luther? I think the only solution for a mental degenerate like yourself is a mercy killing.
It's one degenerate motherfucker to another. I think you should go first.
The man. It's amazing that when he grabbed the pistol, the fella's hand or trigger finger didn't instantly just start squeezing on the trigger. And there he is, puts it straight to his head, and now he's about to tune him up, I suppose.
You know why I was discharged from the army? Huh?
Nope.
I enjoyed killing too much.
Whoa. Holy hicka. Must be like that move for Bruce Willis on The Last Boy Scout. Touch me one more time, I'll kill you. When he says to that guy who's giving them the cigarette. I like that scene, actually, on that movie. Hang on, what the trick? He did a high axe kick to disarm him, and then he let the fella kick the pistol out of his head. Clean, eh? Clean video. All right, so far so good. Whoa, knife on knife. Now I'm not going to go and grab my pistol. I'm going to pull out my knife, make it fair. Make it fair. These fellas didn't get trained by Tank Todd and NZ, I can tell you that much. They didn't get trained by him. I think they stole moves from the kung fu movies there. Here, 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 here. Holy hicka. This is like, what's that other movie I've seen? The Best of the Best. The Taekwondo competition one. That's an old movie now, that one. For those that might know that one. Or maybe it's just me. That fella's got all the spinning kung fu moves. Got his leg sliced twice by the looks of things. Come back again for another spinning blinking hi-ya. Hang on, let's have a look at the after effects when the knife comes out. Pretty sure it went into the other parts of the uniform. Oh well, yeah. Anyway, if you like this sort of stuff, this probably isn't the sort of movie I'd watch. When was this movie done? When's this? 1 year ago? Surely not. Oh, new movies 2023. Hang on. That's not a 2023 movie, surely. Is it? Is it 2023? Who's in the chat? When's this movie done? Not sure why North Korea is invading an American high school, but here we are. Just 3 minutes, clean-ish. Not sure why North. Yeah, is that the Teacher movie? I have no idea. Bro pulled a pistol on Billy T. James and got bodied hard. Followed by Dave Everett in leather giving the Asian fella the Chuck Liddell high kick. Worse, the second sequel. This is a sequel. This is a part 2. Love the sound effects when he gets stabbed. 90s quality in 2020s. Anyway, it's nearly finished. Let's let this play out. Whoa! He got his own blinking spinning hi-ya back. Oh, and then some blues guitar to round this out. He's gonna go through all of that, and now he's gonna shoot him. Bruz, why didn't you just shoot him after you axe-kicked the weapon out of his hand? Holy heck. Oh. Didn't need to waste a round there in the end. Might have been done for a war crime anyway if he did that, somebody might have said. Yeah, righto. Interesting. The Ranger veteran annihilates a young punk. It's 2 parts there. So that fella, the old Billy T. James must have been friends with that fella, I guess. The good guys. Is that how it works? What do we have in here? Well, back in the days, you could have a bad movie, but just epic to watch. So the original was bad. The sequels got worse. Some of the B-grade crap being put out 2023 wouldn't surprise me. We'll teach you how to defend yourself. The Navy Commander Nov. Yeah, hard case. Well, we did that one. Your request was fulfilled with regards to this Ranger veteran. Yeah, good point. Why is North Korea invading the US? How did they get there in the first place? Mind you, if Blinken can drop the ball in Australia for the Bondi terror attacks, well then anything's possible, I suppose. Not to try to diminish the Bondi terror attacks that took place, but yeah, I suppose there's lots of funny stuff out there, eh? Like I said, in that Instagram bookmark that I've discovered, Yeah, and he got through 2 of those clips, so that just gives you an idea of a whole bunch of some of those other videos and stuff on there, and those reels are like 2 minutes long, 3 minutes, some are shorter than that, and some are just posts that just really got me thinking in and around the state of play in Australia and what's happening, and yeah, some of my thoughts in and around that. I do wonder seriously what is going to be the tipping point. Some of those clips and the reels that I've got on Instagram show what looks like sort of civil war type stuff. And there was a question that I read, I think it might have been in a post. I don't know if I bookmarked that one, I should have. And they said, name a single country that the Muslim belief or Muslim religion has made better. I think it was words to that effect anyway. And it made me think, thinking, yeah, true. That's a good question. Where and when has a mass immigration of Muslims, and probably sounds racist, but anyway, I'm just sharing what I read in terms of the post that I saw in the screenshot, where that mass migration of one particular group, ethnicity, religious belief, or whatever you want to call it, has made that country better. I've seen some of the images again on Instagram a while ago before I discovered the bookmark tool, where it showed number of mosques in the UK in whatever year it was, way back when, and then number of mosques in the UK now, and it's just like dotted everywhere in comparison to what it used to be. So, yeah, man, interesting times. I don't have the answers. Even though we sit here and try to come up with the answers ourselves, or we solve the issues ourselves here on these live streams. This is the only Navy I would not pick a fight with the divers. What's this? Not just US, just the high school. Was there some blues guitar to round this out? I don't know why, but you cracked me up there, Joe. All of the things you could have said. Well, that's because it stuck out to me, hearing the blues guitar. Maybe it's because of my guitar sitting over there. They're not sending their best and brightest. They're sending the troublemakers and idiots. Yeah, 100%. They're blinking. I did see a clip. I think I bookmarked that one, where guys going around interviewing some of those Moroccan refugees, invaders, let's call them, illegal immigrants into Ceuta. And they were saying that there was a Facebook and Instagram post that was shared. I don't know how true this is. Well, this is what he was saying. One of the illegal immigrants who's still in Ceuta, talking to this guy, a post shared saying that the borders were open and that you could just go over and you'd be given, what is it? Accommodation? Not accommodation. Not asylum either. Residency, something like that. Or you'd be able to stay anyway. And so he reckons that that's why he went over. How true that is, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was multiple types of psyops and dissemination of information or distribution of information to and in line with the coordination from the local law enforcement from Morocco and the trucks and everything else that happened to get people to go and invade, and all males too. It's like, that's not good, man. Whoever the leaders are of that country, whoever just the local law enforcement and stuff are, whoever those leaders are, and for their military and for their own citizens and the safety and well-being of those families and the citizens within that area who are now faced when they go out on their streets and down onto their beaches, which they probably don't go onto anymore, is just filled with all of these blinking illegal immigrants that are there that should not be there, and nothing has been done about it. Some of the places where the burning of tires and all the black smoke going up into the air, the smashing of the bus depot blinking glass and the signage and all that sort of stuff in other buildings, and some of the clips that I have actually bookmarked, which we didn't get to in here. It's just trucker nuts to me, man. Like, what is the tipping point? What is the tipping point for military leaders to grow up here, law enforcement leaders to grow up here and go, the government's doing nothing. This is not right. Our people that are here are at risk. And it's by and large due to what appears to be the number of, dare I say, illegal immigrants, or the immigrants that have gone into that country or into those relevant areas or countries. Yeah, strange. And even if they're not, it still shouldn't be letting that happen. Law enforcement should still be doing something. So even if it's not immigrants, it should still be the law enforcement and government making decisions to go in there, use all their cameras and their flock cameras and whatever else they've got going. That's a whole nother topic. I bookmarked that one as well. To blink in identify and then go about doing what they need to do, make any arrests that they need to, or just blink and remove that trash from your country. Yeah, crazy. Interesting times indeed. What's this? As a North African born in France, they build more mosques in North African countries than hospitals or infrastructures. Holy heck, man. Wow, thanks for that info, Le Diamond Dog. As a North African born in France, they build more mosques in North African countries than hospitals or infrastructures. That's crazy. 60,000 people don't just have the same idea at the same time. Yeah, I reckon. Right. They're confused. Jason C. That's nuts, man. And now they're trying to, why is it that they're randomly trying to get into Poland? Or is that random? Like if Poland is 97% Polish, clearly, like that's a good thing, good for them, good for whoever their leaders are. And if their government has issued instructions to their border protections and their law enforcement and military, shoot these twats to kill if they try to breach the borders and just invade. That's like, you need a bit of that leadership, eh? You need some of that leadership in those areas whereby they're just being overrun. I think Ceuta could have done with some of that, and I'm pretty sure had that started to happen, had they had people there implementing border protection from illegal immigrants who you don't know their backgrounds, you don't know what they've done, what they may be running away from, what their intentions are coming into your country, and if they're not prepared to go through the proper legal channels and process, then sorry, oops, but blink and double tap and see you later. Whether they're going to issue blink and rubber rounds or blink and beanbag rounds or water blasters or whatever to try to deter first, and then if that's still not happening, and blink and get a bit of that Poland legislation into that border control, and I'm pretty sure those people would turn around and then start swimming back across whatever it was that they swam across to get there, and looking to be running back to those trucks that dropped them off on their side of the border, and then they debust and then blink and infiltrated their way in. It's crazy, man. Soft immigration laws, soft on crime with regards to not wanting to appear to be Islamophobic or whatever the case might be. Soft on people that go and violate young children, pedophiles from other countries in there as well, even within their own country. Like they're all the same, whether you're from a different country or whether you're from the same country, born and bred. Like some good conversations, I think, to be had about bringing back the death penalty in countries in certain offences, because that is a sickness for those people that are wired that way. And it's just, again, probably to that post that I read, name a single country where the Muslim, I can't remember the exact words, I'm probably butchering it, but where the Muslim blink and immigration or belief has created that country or made it better. And if it has made it better, why don't they stay in their own countries doing and preaching and living the things that they live? Excuse me, but probably make the same argument for pedophiles. Like, how has a pedophile made the world better? Name one situation or one pedophile whereby they've made the world better. And I'd argue that I wouldn't even argue. I would just flat out say that there's zero cases where that is. And so why keep them around? No need. Like, Karkeets, bros, you had your chance. You decided to be a twat. And there's just no need for you to exist anymore. That's my take. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which side or why we don't have the death penalty for certain things. I'm not saying for everything, but I reckon it's worth a conversation. Let's have a chat. Let's discuss and sort out and, at least entertain the idea, because there's some pretty horrendous stuff. Those lawmakers, those politicians, what if it happened to one of their children, etc.? What would they want? Would they be happy with a 3-year sentence, but they only serve 18 months of it and get out on good behavior? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if those are the exact time frames, but you know what I mean. I am a little bit exaggerating, but true. Yeah, okay, no worries. A little exaggerating, but true. I get what you mean. I think I get what you mean anyway, even though I don't know the numbers. Seen videos of them getting dropped off by the busload at Polish border. This is crazy, eh? Like there's something is up. Come on, peeps. And so again, I understand those in law enforcement, those in military, they are under the government. Like they'll respond to, react to, and they're looking to, and they take an oath. They attest to wherever it is and whatever it is that they're looking to join, whether you're military, whether you're police officers, whatever, sworn police officers, etc. And I don't know what the wordings are in those attestations, attestations, but you know what I mean. And so, what is the tipping point for whereby it seems like if your government isn't working in the best interest to protect your people, when do you grow up here and go, yeah, nah, this isn't right. Like what you're doing is wrong. Allowing this sort of thing to happen, allowing this soft on crime approach is ridiculous. And those that are serving in law enforcement wanting to have justice done, wanting to protect and serve the community, etc., which is awesome. How do they feel about it? Like, do they feel like they're having the wins, like they're winning against crime? Like when they arrest somebody that's done a horrendous crime, and then they get all these discounts for early plea, they get these discounts because of their upbringing, they get discounts for good behavior, they get discounts because they did a course, then they go to parole hearing, and then they get released on parole or whatever it is, not having served even half of their sentence or whatever happens. And then people are surprised when they reoffend, do the same things again. It's like, I'd love to know how law enforcement feels. Do they feel like they're really making a difference, or is that just the narrative that they've been fed from people in Parliament who aren't out front facing, who aren't out at the coalface on the streets doing the job as well as they can? What is the tipping point to go enough is enough? And truck you lot, we need to get other people in here that are actually gonna have a spine, say no to Blinken, put a pause on things at least, reassess things, look after the people, the citizens of that country first and foremost, and be harder on crime so that it actually deters people from wanting to commit stupid trucking stuff within your country. And they know that if they F around, well, then they'll find out. And some of those crimes that if you choose to continue to do, it's going to result in the death penalty. And unfortunately for you, if you don't like it, then just don't do the crime. If the family want to have a sook about it, well, then too bad. So sad. This is what we want to do. Put it out to the people to have a vote. I reckon the vast majority of people would vote yes, bring back the death penalty, outline what that policy is, outline what those specific crimes are for, and then Blinken implement it. Listen to me, solving all the solving in the comfort of my armchair at what is the time now? When I said I was going to go ages ago, 10:43 at night in the evening. Hard case. Yeah, but anyway, it sounds good in my head. Sounds like it makes sense in my head, but a lot of things sound like they make sense in my head, and they likely don't make any sense to anybody else. But I don't care. Yeah, I think that's probably it. That should be it for now. Otherwise, I could just carry on rambling on just like I did when I did a 5-hour live. Where are we? Yo, sup Joe, sup stream. Hey, Talk Pfizer, you made it. Doesn't take many to convince the rest they don't want to be next. We're simple creatures. Kia ora from Poland. Hey, really? Bart Wilk 1397. Shout out to you from Poland, bro. You fellas have got fantastic laws over there, brus. If that's what has been the command's been given to those protecting your borders, much respect. Awesome. We need some of that here. And we need some of that in Australia. And they definitely need that, Blinken, in the UK as well. From Poland? Is that serious? Are you really from Poland? I hope so. I'll take it anyway. So if you are, that's awesome. Curtis can see from USA that's a hard no. Rubber Kiwi, ears burning, but maybe. The diamond, I agree. That is not not the PDF case in the UK, or the guy stabbed. They play weak policy. Yeah, 100%. They know how to play the game. They're Blinken using it to their advantage in terms of the weak policies that are there. What's this? Rolf Harris. Miyagi need to define better. How would you define better? Amount of tax contributed, biggest proxy of societal contribution, crime rate relative to native population. Yeah, man, there's so much. I think that's even some of the stuff that I bookmarked, where there was a couple of charts of immigration in the area and the amount of immigration crime happening in the area, and it's just blinking massively lopsided and some of that stuff that I saw. AWOL sent one goes a little further, gift membership. Bro, AWOL, I think you did this last time. You sent a gift membership and it went to someone, and this has gone to @bro cut it out. I like that. Bro, cut it out. It says here, bro, cut it out 3407. I'm looking at received the gift membership by AWOL Stew. Wow. Thanks, AWOL Stew. Excuse me. At the Tamihana, what about the Taina Porous of the world? I don't know, bro. Porous? Taina Porous. You'll have to link in. Help me on that one. Rubber Kiwi. Some people need to be kept confined and watched over permanently, or just, depending on what it is. You've got here, preferably while working to improve the society they harmed, making big rocks into little rocks for roads and things. Yeah, fix our potholes. Putting on here, boss. Putting on here. Commander Nov, famous quote by ADF officer, the standard you walk by is a standard you accept. Yep, I forget that fella's name. That was a coined blank and catchphrase being bantered around for quite a while. It is like, it's a good phrase though. Good quote. And it's even better when people actually understand it and apply it. Or you know what I mean. Taking them off here, boss. Putting on here, taking off here, taking them off here. Still not with you, bro. He was jailed for 20 years for rape and murder. He didn't. Who's he? And then you've got do. Sorry, at the Tamihana, bro. You're like, your commentary is whether you're super fast typing and hitting enter all the time, or whether you're on the thumbs on your device. Your commentary or comments are broken and not unreadable. Putting on here, boss. Taking them off here, boss. He was jailed for 20 years for rape and murder. He didn't. And then your next comment is do. Bro, I'm not with you, cuz. Broken and not understandable. I've chosen, I'd sent it to Hammerhead. Well, I don't know. You might still be able to. You can contact him and ask him for his account and then send him some money so that he can buy him one. Cool hand, Luke, bro. Got to see it. Wrongfully convicted. Oh, okay. Taina Porous, wrongfully convicted. I don't know who that is. Rolf Harris. He's talking about Taina Pora, Maori fella, wrongfully convicted. Okay, yep. Well, so that's why I guess that whole the process, but then again, that probably raises more questions like the corruption. And I think I spoke about that earlier in this live stream somewhere. The corruption that's likely well known. And I think I was talking about the guns buyback scheme at that time. Can't tell me that some of those weapons aren't going to magically disappear and end up in the wrong hands for illegal activities. Hence why I was sharing my thoughts in and around, like if I've been a law-abiding, weapon-holding, using citizen for all of those years and never had an incident, never even had a thought of doing something stupid, just using it for either hunting or just competition shooting or whatever people choose to do with their weapons in a good way, I would be super resistant to handing my weapons over, just me personally. But like I said, I've never been a personal firearms owner, and never felt any need to own any firearms at home. So, can say what I like. No system is perfect when people are involved, 100%. Not even the AI system will be perfect, or the stuff that we're using to have self-driving cars. Like those things are created and made by and large, human, smart, brainy people who are still fallible and make mistakes as well. And yeah, I don't know. Time will tell, man. All right, you Joe Mo's calling it a night. See ya, Sig. Night, Joe Mo. Working for civil infrastructure, I got told I was impeccably arrogant for not letting fraud slide. That is crazy, Poeticus. I mean, I'm not surprised that whoever's saying that, or that there are people that would be saying that, but that is just another example of the world that we live in, eh? Like the corruption is everywhere, is at all levels. Who was it? I think I read somewhere Mark Cuban stepped in because an insurer refused to pay the money for the woman who's had I think a lung or a heart transplant, refused her the medication that she needs, which was the anti-rejection stuff, which she was entitled to, but her insurer said no. And I haven't read that whole story, but I just saw that headline. I was like, what the truck is going on? So Mark Cuban has stepped in there, like the billionaire, former Mavericks owner, I want to say, or maybe he's just a partial owner now, but just ridiculous. Like the corruption at every level, healthcare system, Centrelink, disability schemes, military, law enforcement, correction systems, government, public sector. It's just, yeah, bloody rubbish. So hence why conversations in and around the death penalty. Have some good conversations, float those ideas, get your citizens to vote on it. What do you reckon, peeps? And then when the rubber meets the road and it's time, like obviously you need to do the investigations well and make sure that those things are done properly. Can't speak for, there's probably more than this gentleman that's slipped through and that has unfortunately been convicted of something that he didn't do, maybe, much like, dare I say, the Port Arthur massacre and the patsy he's been described as. There's lots of stuff, like I'm no expert in that space there, but I have heard those bits and pieces, and there's a lot of information and stuff out there about that particular tragedy and the massacre that took place there and the person that it's been pinned on. So again, the guys with the gold Perth Mint case who were cleared after and the corruption went on there to convict those guys, like there's heaps, like the list goes on, right? So I don't know how to I don't have all the answers for that, but there's probably some clear-cut cases whereby people have been idiots, and I think it would likely serve as a really good deterrent for people that are in those positions of trust and or that have abused positions to blink and suffer the consequences. But yeah, how you get that perfectly right, I don't think anywhere's going to get it perfectly right unless the aliens come and take care of everything. If you believe in aliens, then try and take it down higher up. Slush funds. Night Poeticus. Evening all. 3 nuts, 1996 in Melbourne after Port Arthur on the gun buyback. The way it worked was you took your autos and semis if you remembered to. Some did, some didn't. I do know for a fact a shipping container went missing of firearms. Like I said, that stuff's going to happen. How do you think? Just like the drugs and stuff getting infiltrated into the US and all other parts of the world, like there is collaboration at the ports, at the docks, on the ships, on the aircraft, everything, right? There are people blinking, going ching ching, and like I said, money can turn the best of people, I think. And maybe, I don't know if those are the best of people, like I don't know who those people are, but clearly there's corruption and people are likely being compensated for doing stupid things. So not my standard, for the Clayton Weatherstones, yes, DP, YouTube polls, life, death, voting closes in 24 hours. Container went missing of firearms. Aussie's death penalty for military went out in early 1900s after Breaker Morant, but the New Zealand military still has it. Oh, really? Aussie's death penalty for military? So we've got a death penalty for what? Just for military? Well, Stu, is that what you're talking about? New Zealand military? I never heard of that. Either my chat is paused or people have gone, this fella said that we're going to close this live up ages ago and he's still going. I've only been going because I've seen comments pop up. So, but anyway, Thank you very much for your time. I'll let you go away. And maybe you'll see me tomorrow. Maybe I'll do another live. Maybe I'll do a poll. Who wants to see me do a live tomorrow? There'll probably be one person that will say yes. After Maria. Not sure, brothers. Oh, Tamihana. Yes, LOL. Sure, look forward to it. Oh, look, there's two. There's two people. Anyway, look after yourselves. I appreciate you all and the comments and the feedback. Buckaroonie, likewise, I'll be in touch with you, Buck. I'll send you an email and maybe we do a collab and talk about what we're doing now. And then you can run us through. That might have to be online for that one. And I might have to take on board some of the feedback that I've received from some people saying, hey, do some more, just do some online stuff and then build up from there. I should have mentioned they were meant to be handed into the police station. yeah. I think I knew what you meant, that they were meant to be handed in. All good, say hi to the much, much, much better half. Hammerhead certainly wants it. Take it easy. See ya. Good night all. Yep. For desertion or treason. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. Desertion or treason. Settle down. Absolutely, mate. Appreciate you all. Look after yourselves. You'll see me on the next one. Maybe even tomorrow. If you're unlucky. Kakeets, peeps. See you later. Night, GSE Miyagi. All right. Hearts. Oh, I just hit the 100 first. Hearts. Cheers, peeps. See you on the next one. And stream, yeah, we could have Hammerhead as a special guest. That's a good point. We could invite him there. He'll just decline, though. He would 100% decline. Yeah. Car Keats, peeps. Have a good night.